Have you ever felt stuck by your own thoughts, or held back by limits you didn't even realize were there? What if you could change the way you think and open up new possibilities for your life? This isn't about quick fixes or empty motivation. It's about learning how to challenge your mind every day, build strong habits, and take control of your future. When you start thinking beyond limits, you begin to see opportunities where others see walls. You create new paths when old ones feel closed. This is a guide to help you break free from old patterns and build a life filled with growth, courage, and real progress. Stick with me and you'll discover practical steps you can start using right now to transform how you think and how you live. Let's take that first step together. Chapter 1. Break free from every belief holding you back. Most people never realize how tightly they are chained by their own thoughts, not by the world around them, not by their education or their income or their family background, but by what they believe about themselves. The truth is, what holds you back in life is rarely out there. It's within you, in the ideas you've accepted as true without ever questioning them, in the invisible beliefs that run through your mind like old recordings. And until you recognize these beliefs and challenge them, you'll never be free to grow. You will live small even though your potential is vast. You will settle even though your heart was made for more. And no amount of motivation or success advice will matter until you first do this deep work, breaking free from the beliefs that keep you limited. It begins with honesty. Brutal, unshakable honesty. Ask yourself right now, what do you truly believe about yourself? Not what you tell others, not what you wish you believed, but the thoughts that run through your head when no one's around, when things go wrong, when you fail. Do you believe you're too old to start again? Do you believe you're not smart enough, not good enough, that people like you never make it? Do you tell yourself it's too late, that change is too hard, that you've already tried and failed, so why bother? These beliefs feel like truth because they've been repeated in your mind for years. But they're not truth, they're just patterns, and patterns can be broken. The first step to change is awareness. You can't fight what you don't see. So start watching your thoughts. Not just what you think, but how you think. Pay attention to your automatic responses. When an opportunity comes, do you instantly shrink and say, "That's not for me"? When someone compliments you, do you brush it off? When you imagine your future, do you feel excitement or fear? These reactions reveal your belief. If your mind shuts down possibilities, if it always prepares for disappointment, if it doubts your worth, those are signs that something inside needs to be rebuilt. You weren't born with these beliefs. You picked them up somewhere along the way. Maybe a teacher told you you'd never succeed. Maybe a parent criticized you until you stopped trying. Maybe you failed once and decided it meant you weren't capable. Or maybe you've just been around people who settle, so you learned to lower your expectations. But just because you learned these beliefs doesn't mean you have to keep them. Anything that was learned can be unlearned. The mind is not fixed, it can be rewired. That's what makes this work so powerful. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to remove the false ideas that have covered who you are. Once you begin to identify a limiting belief, don't argue with it. Just question it. Ask yourself, is this true? And not just, does it feel true, but can I absolutely prove this is true? Most of the time you can't. For example, if you believe I'll never be successful, ask yourself where that idea came from. Did someone tell you that? Did you assume it because of a failure? Have you tried everything? Can you see into the future? No, you're believing a story, not a fact. And if it's a story, you can change it. But changing a belief doesn't happen with a single thought. It happens with practice. You have to retrain your brain by feeding it new thoughts every day. Start by writing down the beliefs that are holding you back. Then for each one, write a belief that will push you forward. If your old belief is "I always mess things up," your new belief might be "I learn from every mech." If your old belief is "I'm too late to start," your new belief might be "Now is the best time to begin." These new beliefs won't feel natural at first. That's okay. Keep repeating them. Keep choosing them. Over time, your mind will adapt to the new reality you're building. Environment matters too. If you're trying to grow but you're surrounded by people who think small, who mock ambition, who reinforce your doubts, it will be hard to make progress. That doesn't mean you cut everyone off. It means you start seeking out voices that lift you. Books, podcasts, mentors, even new communities, anything that exposes your mind to bigger thinking, because your beliefs don't just come from inside. They're shaped by what you hear and see every day. If you want to believe in more, you need to surround yourself with more. Another key is action. Nothing changes beliefs faster than experience. If you believe you can't speak in public, sign up to speak anyway. If you believe you can't build a business, start one. If you believe you'll never be fit, begin working out today. Your brain learns from results. Every time you take action in spite of doubt, you teach your mind that your fears are not facts. That courage is possible. That growth is real. You don't wait until you believe, you act, and belief follows. That's how you take your power back. You will face resistance. The mind doesn't like change. It will try to pull you back into old patterns. That's normal. Expect it, but don't obey it. This is where discipline matters. Not the harsh, punishing kind, but the kind that says, "I'm not going to abandon myself anymore." You may feel fear. You may feel discomfort, but you stay the course. You speak the truth, even when it's hard. You keep your promise to yourself. You do what your higher self would want, not what your fearful self demands. And with every step, the old beliefs lose their grip. There's something powerful that happens when you stop believing lies about yourself. You walk differently. You speak differently. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need everyone to agree. You stop shrinking to fit into other people's expectations. You stop asking, "Who am I to do this?" and start asking, "Who am I not to?" Because the world doesn't benefit from your smallness. It benefits from your strength, from your clarity, from your growth. And it all begins with freeing your mind. There will always be voices that try to convince you to stay where you are. But those voices don't know what you're capable of. Most of them are projecting their own fears. You don't have to carry their doubts. You don't have to live by their rule. You don't even need to explain your path to anyone. Your job is to be honest with yourself and move forward. If something inside you says there's more, believe it. Not because it's easy, but because it's true. Growth is not about becoming someone else. It's about uncovering what's already there. Your gifts, your strength, your clarity, your courage. These were never gone. They were just buried under years of limiting beliefs. But the moment you begin to question those beliefs, you begin to rise. Not quickly, not perfectly, but fully. You become grounded. You become real. You start acting like the person you were meant to be. The world is full of noise, full of rules, full of expectations. But none of that matters if you don't trust your own mind. So build it, strengthen it, guard it. Stop giving it junk to feed on. Stop letting your past dictate your future. Stop telling yourself stories that make you smaller. You are not here to survive. You're here to expand, to evolve, to push past what you thought was possible. Every time you tell yourself a new truth, every time you challenge a lie, every time you choose courage over comfort, you are breaking the chain. You are building a new identity, and that identity is built not on what others said about you, but on what you know is possible for yourself. There will be days when you forget this, days when the old voice comes back louder. Don't panic. Don't quit. Go back to your truth. Reclaim it. Repeat it. Walk with it. The work never ends, but it gets easier. And one day you'll look back and realize that the thoughts that once controlled you are gone, not because they disappeared, but because you no longer gave them power. This is what it means to think beyond limits, not to live in denial, not to chase false positivity, but to live in reality. The reality that your mind is the source of everything you do. If you change how you think, you change how you live. And if you're willing to do that work daily, deliberately, with full responsibility, nothing can stop you. Not your past, not your fear, not your doubt, because the only limits that matter are the ones you refuse to break. And now you know how. So begin. Chapter 2. Train your mind to expect more from life. Most people don't realize that their expectations silently control the direction of their lives. The mind is constantly calculating what is possible, what is worth pursuing, and what will likely happen next. These expectations shape your choices, your behavior, and your attitude, often without you even knowing. If you expect little from life, you prepare for little. You aim low. You protect yourself from disappointment, but you also shut out the opportunity for something greater. Over time, you stop dreaming, you stop pushing, and you start settling. You build a life that's small not because of what's around you, but because of what you trained your mind to expect. Your life doesn't grow beyond what your mind believes is normal. If you expect rejection, you avoid connection. If you expect to struggle forever, you don't notice solutions when they show up. If you believe your future will look just like your past, you repeat the same patterns. The expectations you carry become the lens through which you see everything. That lens either limits you or liberates you. So if you want to move forward, you have to change what you expect, not just on the surface, but at the core of your thinking. This kind of mental training isn't about fantasy or empty affirmations. It's about deliberately choosing what kind of thoughts deserve your attention. It's about teaching your brain that your current circumstances are not your ceiling. It's about breaking the habit of expecting things to stay the same and replacing it with a deeper habit, expecting growth, opportunity, progress, and meaning. Every day you wake up, your mind is looking for proof of what it already believes. If it expects life to be hard, it will focus on problems. If it expects people to be cold or unkind, it will ignore every sign of generosity. If it expects success to be out of reach, it will sabotage your efforts before they start. That's not a conscious decision. It's the result of mental patterns repeated over time. Your mind likes what is familiar, even when it works against you. That's why the first step to expecting more from life is noticing how little you've expected from it so far. It shows up in subtle ways. When you get excited about something new, do you immediately worry that it won't last? When someone treats you well, do you wonder when it will change? When things are going right, do you brace for impact? These are signs that your mind has been trained to expect disappointment. And it's not because you're weak, it's because at some point you learned to be cautious. Maybe you were let down, maybe life didn't go as planned, maybe people didn't show up the way they should have, so you adjusted your expectations to avoid pain. But in doing so you also blocked the flow of progress. You cannot change your future, if your mind is always waiting for things to fall apart. Training your mind to expect more means choosing to see beyond what has happened and opening up to what is possible. It doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means building a new one by showing your mind new patterns. When your mind starts expecting more, it starts looking for more. It notices opportunity instead of obstacles. It sees the value in effort. It recognizes the strength in discomfort. And slowly, it begins to support your growth instead of resisting it. This process starts with language. What you say about your life, your goals, your future, those words matter. When you say, "I'm not lucky," or "nothing ever works out," your mind listens. When you say, "I always mess things up," or "people like me don't get ahead," your mind stores it as data. Over time, it builds a case for why you should stay small. So change your language, not just to sound positive, but to become powerful. Say, "I'm capable of handling more." Say, "I'm learning how to grow." Say, "Better days are ahead, and I'm preparing for them." These are not just statements. They are instructions. They train your mind to pay attention to progress. Then come actions. You can't wait for belief to arrive before you move. Movement creates belief. Take small steps every day that prove you are expecting something better. If you want health, move like someone who values their body. If you want love, show up like someone who believes they're worth it. If you want growth, spend time learning something new every day. These acts are not about perfection. They're about consistency. You're building a new normal, one where expecting more becomes natural. Another way to retrain your expectations is through your standards. Raise them, not in a way that makes you rigid or entitled, but in a way that reflects your worth. Don't tolerate disrespect. Don't normalize exhaustion. Don't call struggle a lifestyle. Raise the bar on how you let others treat you. Raise the bar on how you show up for your own goals. Raise the bar on how you speak to yourself. When you do this, your life starts rising to meet the new standard. To train your mind to expect more, you must also protect it. You can't feed your mind daily negativity and expect it to produce strength. You can't listen to people who doubt everything and expect to stay hopeful. Your environment has power. Be selective about the voices you allow into your thinking. Read books that stretch you. Watch content that uplifts you. Speak to people who have walked the path you want to walk. Your mind is shaped by what surrounds it. If you want to expect more, expose yourself to more. It's also essential to reflect. Look at your own life. Find the moments you once thought were impossible, but now they're real. Remember the times you overcame something difficult. Remind yourself of the progress you've made. These moments are proof that your expectations can be expanded. When you focus on what's already growing, your belief in future growth becomes more real, and that belief becomes your momentum. But no training is complete without discipline. Your mind will try to go back to what's familiar. It will resist change, especially when things get hard. It will whisper old doubts. You must learn to answer those doubts with action. Every time your mind says, "This is too much," you say, "This is my stretch zone." Every time it says, "You'll fail again," you say, "This is how I learn." You don't argue with the old voice. You simply drown it out with new behavior. Over time, the new voice becomes louder. It becomes who you are. You were not made to stay in the same place forever. Growth is your nature. Expansion is your responsibility. The world around you may stay the same, but your internal world can always evolve. And when you train your mind to expect more, everything else begins to shift. You approach relationships differently. You treat your time differently. You walk into rooms with a different kind of presence, not arrogance, just quiet confidence, because you know you were meant for more than survival. You were meant to live with purpose. Expecting more is not about getting everything you want. It's about refusing to live with the belief that you must set. It's about believing that you are allowed to want more, that you are capable of doing more, that your past doesn't get to define your future, and that even when the odds are against you, your mindset can be your advantage. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Rewire thoughts that have been there for years. But with every thought you challenge, with every new standard you set, with every choice you make to grow, you are changing the trajectory of your life. You are preparing yourself to receive what once felt out of reach. And when it comes, you'll be ready, not surprised, not scared, but ready, because your mind will have already made space for it. This is how you shift from limitation to possibility, not by chance, not by hope, but by daily discipline, by feeding your mind with belief, by proving to yourself again and again that the old way of thinking no longer fits the life you're building. When you expect more, you see more. When you believe in more, you create more. And when you train your mind to rise, your entire life begins to follow. Chapter 3. Build a daily habit that challenges your comfort zone. Real growth begins the moment you step away from what feels easy. Comfort may give you a sense of control, but it rarely leads you to anything meaningful. If you want to become stronger, smarter, braver, and more focused, you must intentionally choose discomfort, not recklessly, not aggressively, but purposefully. The kind of discomfort that stretches you without breaking you. The kind that sharpens your mind and deepens your discipline. This doesn't happen by accident. It's created by building a habit that challenges your comfort zone every single day. A habit so small, it's easy to start, yet powerful enough to change how you think and how you live. The comfort zone is where routines go unchallenged. It's where you only do what feels safe. It's where you avoid risk, minimize effort, and protect yourself from failure. But over time, that safety turns into stagnation. You start feeling stuck, bored, disconnected from your goals. You tell yourself you want to grow, but you spend most of your time repeating what you already know. The only way out is to build a habit that forces your mind and body to adapt to something new. That habit doesn't have to be extreme. It just has to be consistent, because discomfort doesn't need to be dramatic. It needs to be daily. Your goal isn't to break yourself down. It's to interrupt your comfort, to put pressure on the part of you that prefers ease, so that the part of you that craves growth gets stronger. Start by choosing one action each day that makes you uncomfortable. Something that pushes against your patterns. It could be waking up earlier than you want to. It could be taking a cold shower. It could be starting a conversation you've been avoiding. It could be working on a goal for 30 minutes without checking your phone. Whatever it is, do it with full focus. Not halfway, not while making excuses, but with the awareness that this small act is building your ability to handle challenge. Most people wait until they feel ready to face discomfort. That's a mistake. Readiness doesn't come first. Action does. When you make discomfort part of your daily life, it becomes familiar. Not easier, but less intimidating. You stop seeing challenge as a threat and start seeing it as a tool. You start respecting the role of resistance. And when resistance shows up, you meet it with presence, not avoidance. That's the real purpose of the habit, to train you to stop escaping the hard thing and instead turn toward it. You must also be intentional with the discomfort you choose. Random pain has no value. Deliberate pressure does. Choose discomfort that develops a skill, builds emotional strength, or supports your long-term vision. Don't create stress for the sake of feeling tough. Create structure that pulls you beyond who you were yesterday. This could mean practicing discipline when no one's watching. It could mean pushing yourself physically to build resilience. It could mean doing something that exposes you to failure, so you learn how to recover. Whatever it is, tie it to a reason, a deeper why. That purpose will give your discomfort meaning. The real impact of this habit is not in the task itself, it's in what the task teaches you about yourself. Every time you do something difficult, you prove that you are capable of doing more than you thought. You break the illusion that comfort equals happiness. You stop depending on mood to determine your actions. You stop giving fear the final say. You stop retreating the moment things get hard. These shifts in your thinking are what create a different future, one built on strength, not softness. You'll need to prepare for the internal resistance. Your mind will argue with you. It will say you're doing enough. It will tell you to rest, delay, postpone, or give up. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is wired for efficiency. It seeks the path of least resistance, but if you give in every time it gets hard, you train your mind to associate growth with avoidance. You build the habit of quitting. The daily discomfort habit interrupts that cycle. It teaches your mind to respect struggle, not run from it. Over time, the part of you that hesitates gets quieter, and the part of you that acts gets louder. It's important to track your progress, not in terms of results, but in terms of consistency. Keep a simple journal. Write down what discomfort you chose each day. Reflect on how it felt, what thoughts came up, and what you learned. This practice increases awareness. It helps you see patterns. It reminds you of the progress you're making, even when it doesn't feel obvious. Consistency builds confidence. When you see the string of days where you did the hard thing, even in small ways, it becomes harder to lie to yourself. You stop saying, "I can't." You start saying, "I've done this before. I can keep going." This habit will start to spill into other areas of your life. You'll take more ownership at work. You'll speak up when it matters. You'll face feedback with maturity. You'll deal with uncertainty with more focus. That's the compound effect of discomfort. It expands your capacity. It sharpens your edge. It prepares you for real life, not just ideal conditions. And the people around you will notice, not because you're louder, but because you're grounded. You're not easily shaken. You move with purpose. You respond instead of react. All of that comes from the quiet work of choosing challenge when you didn't have to. There will be days when you don't want to do it, days when excuses sound logical, days when motivation is low. Those are the most important days to follow through. Not because the task is special, but because your commitment is being tested. You're showing yourself that you can act without needing to feel inspired. That's the muscle you're building, and it's the same muscle you'll use when real pressure shows up. You don't need more information. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You just need to start with one habit, one act of discomfort, done daily, done on purpose, done with awareness. That single decision will separate you from the majority of people who talk about growth but never experience it, because they're still waiting for change to feel easy. You won't be one of them. You'll be the one who builds strength quietly, brick by brick, and long after others quit, you'll still be moving. Not because it was easy, but because you made a decision and you honored it. Real transformation happens in the small moments. In the choice to wake up early when you'd rather sleep. In the discipline to stick to your routine when no one's watching. In the decision to stay with discomfort instead of running from it. These aren't grand moments, but they build a grand life, and that life belongs to anyone who is willing to do what's uncomfortable, again and again, until it becomes who they are. Chapter 4. Set goals that scare you and excite you. Most people aim too low and wonder why they feel unfulfilled. They choose safe goals that require little change, little risk, and little commitment. These goals look practical on paper, but feel empty in real life. They don't stretch your potential. They don't spark your imagination. They don't push you to rise. The kind of goals that actually transform your life are the ones that scare you and excite you at the same time. They make your heart beat faster, not because they're impossible, but because they demand a version of you that you haven't fully met yet. These goals are not comfortable. They challenge you to think differently, act boldly, and show up with more energy and responsibility than you ever have before. When you set a goal that scares you, it means it carries real weight. It forces you to confront your fear of failure, your fear of judgment, your fear of not being good enough. It exposes the parts of you that still doubt your own ability. But that's exactly why it's powerful. A goal that doesn't trigger your fear won't lead to real change. You'll stay where it's safe. You'll repeat what's familiar. You'll convince yourself that you're making progress when really you're just staying busy. Real progress demands discomfort. It demands uncertainty, and it begins the moment you write down something that feels too big for the person you currently are. But it can't just scare you, it must also excite you. Because excitement pulls you forward. It gives you energy, it wakes something up in you that's been asleep. When you imagine reaching a meaningful goal, your whole body reacts. You feel a sense of possibility. You feel hope. You feel alive. That's your inner self responding to a challenge that matters. And you need that energy, because the path to a big goal isn't easy. It's full of obstacles, doubts, setbacks, and long stretches where nothing seems to work. Without excitement, you'll quit. Without excitement, you'll treat it like a task instead of a calling. But when you're both scared and excited, you know you're on the right path. You're not just chasing an outcome, you're growing into someone who can create it. The biggest mistake people make when setting goals is aiming only for what's realistic. They shrink their vision to match their current resources, their current skills, and their current mindset. But the whole point of a goal is to create something you don't currently have. If you only focus on what feels within reach, you'll never stretch far enough to discover your full strength. Your goal should not be a mirror of who you are now. It should be a reflection of who you want to become. It should demand better habits, stronger discipline, deeper focus, and higher standards. Otherwise, it's not a goal, it's a checklist. To set a goal that meets this standard, you must begin by getting honest with yourself. What do you truly want, beyond what others expect from you? What would light you up if you actually achieved it? What outcome would change how you see yourself? What vision keeps showing up in your mind, even though you keep pushing it away? The answers to those questions won't be comfortable. They may feel risky. They may make you nervous, but that's exactly where you need to go. Your discomfort is not a warning sign. It's a signal that you're standing at the edge of growth. Once you know the goal, write it down clearly. Be specific. Vague dreams never get built. Your mind needs clarity. Say exactly what you want, when you want it, and why it matters to you. A goal with no timeline is just a wish. A goal with no reason behind it has no fire. Put it in writing, not because the paper has power, but because you do. Writing your goal creates a commitment. It tells your brain that this is no longer a passing thought. It's a direction. It's a decision. And from that moment forward, you begin shaping your actions to match that decision. Now comes the hard part. Showing up for it every day. Not once in a while. Not just when you feel inspired, but daily. Your consistency is more important than your speed. Big goals are not achieved in a rush. They're built through steady, deliberate progress. That means you break your goal into small, manageable steps. You track your effort, you measure what matters, and you stay focused on the process, not just the result. Every time you take action in the direction of a goal that scares and excites you, you build trust in yourself. You prove that you are serious, that you are capable, that you are becoming the kind of person who follows through. There will be moments when the goal feels too far away. You'll question whether it's even possible. You'll wonder if you're wasting your time. These are the moments that test your belief. And your belief is not built in the easy moments. It's built when things get hard and you don't quit. It's built when doubt shows up and you keep moving. It's built when the outside world gives you no reward, and you still show up because you know the internal reward is worth it. This is what separates those who succeed from those who stay stuck. Not talent, not luck, just the discipline to stay committed to a vision that matters. Another challenge that shows up with big goals is the fear of being judged. You might worry about what others will think. You might be afraid of failing in public. You might even keep your goals to yourself to avoid criticism, but that fear only has power if you give it your attention. The truth is, people will always have opinions. Some will support you, others will doubt you. That's not your concern. Your job is not to manage other people's reactions. Your job is to take responsibility for your own life. You don't need permission to dream big. You don't need approval to pursue something that matters to you. The only thing you need is the courage to act, even when it feels vulnerable. Don't confuse difficulty with failure. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's wrong. It means it's valuable. Most people give up too soon because they expect progress to be linear. But big goals are messy. They require course corrections. They come with setbacks. They demand emotional resilience. If you're doing something you've never done, of course it will feel awkward. Of course you'll make mistakes. Of course it will stretch you. That's what you signed up for. And that's what will shape you. Every time you take one step toward your goal, no matter how small, you move further away from who you were. You create momentum. You build clarity. You become more resourceful. This is the beauty of setting goals that scare and excite you. They're not just about what you achieve. They're about who you become in the process. You develop focus. You become more disciplined. You start thinking bigger, acting faster and trusting yourself more. That's what makes the effort worth it. It's not about reaching some perfect destination. It's about living with direction, living with urgency, living with purpose. Most people go through life reacting. You will go through life creating. Not perfectly, not without setbacks, but intention, and that intention will change everything. You have one life. Don't waste it playing small. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't keep aiming for goals that feel safe, but lead nowhere. You are capable of more than you realize. Set the goal that makes you nervous. Set the goal that makes your heart race. Set the goal that wakes you up in the morning with energy. That's the goal that matters. That's the goal that will change you. And once you commit to it fully, you'll wonder why you ever waited. Chapter 5. Speak to yourself with strength and kindness always. How you speak to yourself shapes how you experience the world. Your inner voice is with you every hour of every day, guiding your thoughts, influencing your choices, and shaping your self-worth. It's the tone behind your confidence or the reason you stay stuck. If that voice is harsh, impatient, or full of doubt, you begin to treat yourself like someone who isn't worthy of care or strength. But when that voice is rooted in power and kindness, something shifts inside you. You become more stable, more capable, and more resilient. You begin to trust yourself deeply, not because you're perfect, but because you've learned how to support yourself through every challenge. Many people live with an inner voice that they would never allow another person to speak with. They criticize their every move. They replay every mistake. They speak in absolutes. I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. I'll never change. These words seem small, but over time they become beliefs, and beliefs become identity. This is how a person with talent, drive, and vision can slowly start believing they don't deserve peace or progress. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in moments. Moments when you needed compassion but gave yourself criticism instead. It's not just about being positive, it's about being fair. If you only use your inner voice to highlight your flaws and failures, you're training your mind to see life through a distorted lens. You can be honest with yourself without being cruel. You can take responsibility without self-punishment. You can challenge yourself without shame. Speaking with strength means calling yourself to higher standards. Speaking with kindness means doing it from a place of care, not contempt. When those two qualities work together, your inner voice becomes a powerful ally. This kind of self-talk doesn't come naturally to everyone. Many people grew up in environments where love was tied to achievement, where mistakes were met with punishment, where emotions were dismissed or ignored. In those environments, you learn to speak to yourself the same way others spoke to you, but you are no longer bound to that version of communication. You have the power to choose a new voice, a voice that builds instead of breaks. To speak to yourself with strength, you must remind yourself of your responsibility. You are in charge of your own thoughts. You decide which ones get your attention. When you fall short, speak clearly to yourself, acknowledge the truth, then focus on what you can do about it. Strength is not about pretending you're doing fine when you're not. It's about refusing to give up on yourself, even when you're struggling. It's saying, I made a mistake, and I will fix it. Or this hurts, but I'm not going to collapse under it. Or I don't feel ready, but I will still take the next step. These words don't ignore pain. They carry you through it. To speak to yourself with kindness, you must offer understanding. Growth takes time. Change is messy. Progress is not always visible. When you feel tired, overwhelmed, or uncertain, you don't need to be attacked. You need to be seen. You need to hear, it's okay to feel this, or you've made it through worse, or you're allowed to rest and begin again. This kind of kindness isn't weakness, it's a reminder of your humanity. It's fuel for the days when your motivation is low. It's the permission you give yourself to be real, not just relentless. Most people speak to themselves based on how they feel in the moment, but emotions pass quickly, and they aren't always accurate. You can feel afraid, and still be capable. You can feel unworthy, and still be deserving. That's why discipline in your inner dialogue is so important. You don't wait for your feelings to improve before you speak better to yourself. You speak better to yourself to help improve your feelings. Even when it feels fake at first, you do it anyway. Over time, it becomes the new normal. One way to develop this habit is to pay close attention to the first thought you have when you fail. What do you say to yourself? What tone does your mind use? Do you encourage yourself to try again, or do you attack your character? Most people don't even notice their self-talk until it's already done damage. Start slowing down those moments. Pause. Ask yourself, is this voice helping me or hurting me? If it's hurting you, it's time to interrupt it. You don't need to argue with the thought. You just replace it with something stronger and kinder. It also helps to speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you care about. If a friend came to you after making a mistake, what would you say? Would you call them a failure? Would you tell them they're worthless? Of course not. You'd speak with honesty and care. You'd point out what they could learn, and you'd remind them of their worth. Now apply that to yourself. You don't need to wait for others to support you when you can give that support to yourself. Another important shift is choosing language that focuses on effort, not just outcome. Instead of saying, "I'm not successful," say, "I'm making steady progress." Instead of saying, "I always fail," say, "I'm still learning how to succeed." These words seem small, but they change how your mind processes experience. They remind you that growth is a process, not a performance, and they give you the strength to keep going even when results are slow. You must also protect your self-talk from outside influence. If you're constantly surrounded by criticism, comparison, or negativity, your inner voice will start to echo that noise. Be careful with what you absorb. Choose environments and people who speak with clarity and encouragement. Spend time with those who remind you of your value. Read words that uplift your spirit. Listen to voices that challenge you without crushing you. Your mind will reflect what you feed it. Over time, your inner voice becomes your foundation. It becomes the place you return to when life gets loud. When everything else feels unstable, the way you speak to yourself can bring you back to center. It can remind you of your direction. It can quiet the chaos. This is why it matters so much. It's not just about feeling better, it's about being equipped to handle life with strength and composure. This practice isn't about being perfect. There will still be days when your inner voice gets harsh. That's okay. Don't turn it into another reason to criticize yourself. Just notice it, redirect it. Choose again. Every moment is a chance to train that voice. To make it stronger, to make it kinder, to make it a reflection of the person you're becoming, not the person you used to be. When you speak to yourself with strength, you lead yourself forward. You stop waiting for someone else to push you. When you speak to yourself with kindness, you stay steady. You don't break every time things go wrong. These two qualities, when practiced daily, will change how you move through the world. You'll take bigger risks because you know you'll have your own back. You'll take more responsibility because you trust your own ability to recover. You'll stop depending on external validation because you've built a solid relationship with yourself. You are not fragile. You are not broken. You are not stuck with the voice you grew up with. You can create a new one, a voice that reminds you of your strength, a voice that gives you permission to rest without giving up, a voice that calls you higher with compassion, not shame. You will still face challenges, but you won't face them alone, because you'll have yourself fully. And that is where true transformation begins. Chapter 6. Surround yourself with people who stretch your thinking. The company you keep has an enormous impact on your life. Your thoughts, beliefs, and habits are shaped by the people around you, often more than you realize. If you want to grow beyond your current limits, it's essential to surround yourself with people who challenge your thinking. Not just to agree with you or make you comfortable, but to stretch your mind, push your boundaries, and open new perspectives. These are the individuals who make you question your assumptions, consider alternative ideas, and elevate your understanding of what's possible. Being around people who stretch your thinking means stepping into conversations that are honest and sometimes uncomfortable. These aren't casual exchanges where everyone nods along. They are discussions that demand clarity, courage, and curiosity. When you engage with such people, you learn to hold your own ideas lightly and be open to change. You start recognizing that your current way of thinking is only a fraction of what's available. This kind of environment creates fertile ground for transformation because it forces your brain to adapt, rethink, and grow. It's important to recognize the difference between people who stretch your thinking and those who simply challenge you to argue. Growth doesn't come from conflict or competition. It comes from respect combined with a willingness to explore ideas deeply. People who stretch your thinking listen as much as they speak. They ask questions that make you reflect rather than defend. They offer perspectives rooted in experience and insight. They don't just criticize, they inspire curiosity. Their presence invites you to expand your horizons, not to retreat. You may find that the people who stretch your thinking are not always the easiest to be around. They can challenge your comfort, shake your certainty, and reveal blind spots. But that's exactly why they are valuable. When your environment is too safe, your growth becomes stagnant. It's the tension of challenge that creates progress. By choosing to surround yourself with those who ask difficult questions and hold high standards, you create a dynamic that demands your best thinking and your best effort. This kind of community doesn't always happen naturally. You may need to be intentional in seeking out people who think differently from you. This might mean joining groups, attending events, or finding mentors who have achieved what you aspire to. It could mean reaching out to someone you admire and starting a conversation that pushes your limits. Sometimes it requires leaving behind relationships that have become comfortable but no longer serve your growth. While it can feel uncomfortable to step away, it is necessary for your development. When you make this shift, you'll notice how quickly your mindset changes. Exposure to new ideas sparks new questions. New questions lead to new experiments. New experiments create new results. It's a cycle of constant expansion. You stop assuming that your current knowledge is enough. You become a lifelong learner by design, not by accident. This also builds humility because you see how much there is to learn. Humility doesn't weaken you, it opens you up to greater wisdom. Surrounding yourself with people who stretch your thinking also helps protect you from the trap of complacency. It's easy to fall into routines where everyone agrees and reinforces the status quo. But when you're around people who push boundaries, you're held accountable to keep moving forward. They celebrate your wins, but they also challenge you to aim higher. Their faith in your potential becomes a mirror that reflects what you can become. This kind of support is critical, especially when you face setbacks or doubts. Another benefit is that you develop better communication skill. When you regularly interact with people who challenge your thinking, you learn to articulate your ideas more clearly and listen more carefully. You develop patience and openness. You become better at debating ideas without making it personal. These skills are essential for leadership and influence. They help you navigate complex situations with grace and confidence. This growth spills over into every area of your life, from work to relationships to personal goals. Be aware that not all opinions deserve equal attention. Surrounding yourself with thinkers means also cultivating discernment. Some people may challenge your thinking, but lack depth or constructive intent. It's important to distinguish between those who push you forward and those who pull you into unnecessary conflict or negativity. Your time and energy are valuable. Focus on relationships that bring clarity, encouragement, and challenge in balance. Protect yourself from toxic dynamics disguised as challenge. To build this environment, start by becoming that kind of person yourself. Stretch your own thinking regularly so you attract others who do the same. Share your growth journey openly and invite feedback. Demonstrate curiosity and respect for different perspectives. When you show up with openness, you'll find that like-minded people are drawn to you. Building a community of thinkers is a two-way street. You give and receive growth in equal measure. Small changes in your social circle can have massive ripple effects. Begin by identifying one or two people who inspire you to think differently. Spend more time with them. Engage in meaningful conversations. Ask for their advice or challenge your assumptions. Seek out books, podcasts, or events they recommend. Each of these steps widens your worldview. Gradually, your thinking will expand, and with it, your capacity to create the life you want. Remember that growth requires discomfort. When people stretch your thinking, it may feel unfamiliar or challenging. You might feel uncertain or even defensive at times. That's natural. Lean into that discomfort instead of avoiding it. It signals that you're moving beyond old limits. This is the work of transformation. The resistance you feel is part of the process. When you persist through it, you build mental flexibility and emotional resilience. The people around you also become your teachers. Their successes, failures, and insights serve as living examples. By observing how they approach problems, handle setbacks, and embrace learning, you absorb valuable lessons without having to experience everything firsthand. This accelerates your growth. It also inspires confidence because you see what's possible. Your network becomes a source of motivation, wisdom, and practical support. As you cultivate relationships with people who stretch your thinking, you may find that your values evolve. Exposure to different perspectives challenges old beliefs and expands your sense of what matters. This is a sign of growth, not confusion. Your identity becomes more fluid and adaptable. You develop a mindset of curiosity and exploration instead of rigid certainty. This flexibility prepares you for the complex and changing world you live in. Ultimately, surrounding yourself with thinkers isn't just about personal gain, it's about contributing to a culture of growth. When you engage with people who stretch your thinking, you also push them to grow. Your conversations create a ripple effect that reaches beyond your immediate circle. You become part of a community committed to continuous improvement, wisdom, and courage. This is how powerful change happens, not in isolation, but through connection and challenge. Your environment is not fixed. You have the power to shape it. By choosing who you spend time with, what conversations you engage in, and what ideas you explore, you create conditions for your growth. The people who stretch your thinking help you see beyond your limits, because they believe those limits are meant to be broken. When you surround yourself with such individuals, you join a movement of thinkers and doers who refuse to settle, and in their company your mind will stretch, your spirit will expand, and your life will transform. Chapter 7. Take full control of your time and energy. Taking full control of your time and energy is the foundation of creating a life that reflects your true priorities. Without control over these two vital resources, your days slip away in reaction rather than intention. Most people think they don't have enough time or energy, but the truth is that how you choose to use both determines your results far more than external circumstances. Time and energy are yours to manage, but it requires conscious effort to prevent distractions, demands, and habits from stealing them away. To gain control over your time, the first step is understanding where it goes. Many believe they are busy, but busyness does not equal productivity. Track your day honestly for several days without judgment. Notice patterns of unplanned activities, wasted moments, and interruptions. When you see your typical day clearly, it becomes easier to make choices about what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Awareness precedes control. Without it, you remain a passenger in your own life. Next, prioritize tasks based on impact rather than urgency. Most people spend time responding to what feels urgent or what others demand, instead of focusing on what will move them closer to their goals. This reactive approach drains energy and leads to frustration. Instead, list your key objectives and allocate your best energy blocks to them first. Learn to say no to distractions and low-value requests. This is not selfishness, it is respect for your purpose. Protecting your time is a form of self-respect. Energy management is equally critical. Time is finite, but energy fluctuates. You may have 8 hours free, but if your energy is low, productivity and focus will suffer. Recognize what activities recharge you and which ones drain you. Design your day around your natural rhythms. Do your most challenging work when your energy peaks. Use low-energy periods for rest, reflection, or simple tasks. This alignment creates flow instead of resistance. Many waste energy on worry, guilt, and multitasking. These mental habits drain focus and reduce clarity. Practice single tasking by giving full attention to one thing at a time. Limit exposure to negative thoughts by shifting focus towards solutions and what you can control. Building mental energy reserves is as important as physical rest. Meditation, deep breathing, and short breaks help recharge your mind throughout the day. Effective control over time and energy also requires setting clear boundaries. Boundaries protect your schedule and your well-being. Define when your workday begins and ends. Communicate these limits to others respectfully. Avoid the temptation to be always available, especially in the digital age, where notifications demand constant attention. Create periods of uninterrupted focus by turning off non-essential alerts. Boundaries create space for deep work and meaningful rest. Planning plays a crucial role. Use tools that suit you to map out your day and week. A simple to-do list or a digital planner can keep you accountable. Break larger goals into smaller tasks with deadlines. Planning reduces decision fatigue and creates momentum. Review your plans daily to adjust for new priorities and avoid feeling overwhelmed. Flexibility within structure allows you to respond to life without losing control. Taking full control also means valuing rest as part of your productivity system. Sleep is not optional. It is essential for cognitive function and emotional balance. Make sleep a priority by establishing a regular schedule and creating an environment conducive to rest. Include physical activity and nutrition as energy boosters. Your body and mind are interconnected. Neglecting one affects the other. Sustainable performance depends on honoring this relationship. Self-awareness is a powerful tool in this process. Regularly check in with yourself to assess if your time and energy are aligned with your goals. Are you spending your best hours on the most important work? Are distractions creeping back in? Do you feel drained or energized at the end of the day? Honest reflection allows you to course correct. This is a lifelong practice, not a one-time fix. Delegation is often overlooked, but essential for control. You don't have to do everything yourself. Identify tasks that others can handle and free up your time for what requires your unique skills. Delegation is not giving up control, it's strategic use of resources. Trust in others builds your capacity to focus on higher priorities and prevents burnout. Technology can be both a tool and a trap. Use it wisely by setting limits on social media, emails, and unnecessary apps. Schedule specific times to check messages instead of constant monitoring. Automate repetitive tasks where possible. This reduces distraction and preserves mental clarity. Technology should serve your goals, not control your attention. Developing routines is a powerful way to stabilize your control over time and energy. Morning and evening routines anchor your day and build momentum. Consistent habits reduce the number of decisions you make, conserving energy for meaningful work. Routines also create a sense of mastery and confidence. When your days follow a rhythm that supports your priorities, you reduce stress and increase productivity. Accountability amplifies your control. Share your goals and schedules with someone who supports your growth. Regular check-ins create motivation and discipline. Knowing someone else is aware of your commitments encourages follow-through. You can also hold yourself accountable through journaling or progress tracking. Accountability creates a system that supports consistency. Unexpected events and interruptions will happen. Control doesn't mean rigidity. It means responding with intention rather than reaction. Build buffer time into your schedule to handle surprises without losing balance. When faced with distractions, pause before reacting. Ask yourself if this is aligned with your goals or if it's a detour. This simple habit creates space for conscious choice. Gratitude and celebration also support control over time and energy. Recognize small wins daily. Celebrating progress fuels motivation and reinforces positive habits. Gratitude shifts focus from what is lacking to what is present. This mindset nurtures resilience and keeps your energy positive. Taking full control of your time and energy is not about perfection. It's about respect for yourself and your purpose. It requires courage to say no, discipline to follow through, and wisdom to adjust when necessary. When you commit to managing these resources intentionally, you unlock potential that was always within reach. You become the author of your own life story, writing each day with clarity, strength, and purpose. Chapter 8. Face your fears with action, not overthinking. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that hold people back from achieving their true potential. It creates a heavy weight on the mind, a paralysis that keeps you stuck in place even when you know that moving forward is necessary. The worst part about fear is that it often lives in your thoughts long before it appears in reality. Overthinking feeds fear, making it grow bigger and more intimidating than it really is. Instead of letting fear control your actions, the only way to break free is to face it directly with action. Action cuts through doubt, confusion, and hesitation because it shifts your focus from what might happen to what you can do right now. When fear arises, it's natural to want to analyze every possible outcome. You run scenarios in your head, imagining worst-case possibilities, replaying past mistakes, and worrying about what others might think. This mental loop can trap you in anxiety and stop you from taking even the smallest steps forward. Overthinking can feel productive because it seems like preparation, but in reality it delays progress. It makes problems seem unsolvable when the solution is simply to start. Fear is not defeated by more thought, it is defeated by movement. Action is the antidote to fear. The moment you take a step, no matter how small, you reclaim your power. Movement creates momentum, and momentum builds confidence. Even if the first step doesn't go perfectly, it gives you information and experience you wouldn't have by staying still. Action transforms the unknown into something you can handle. It shifts your mind from what if to what now. This shift is crucial because fear thrives in uncertainty, and action brings clarity. One way to face fear with action is to break your goals into tiny steps that feel manageable. When a task or decision seems overwhelming, identify the smallest possible action that moves you forward. This might be sending an email, making a phone call, or simply writing down your thoughts. By focusing on small wins, you build the habit of action, even when fear is present. Each step reduces the power of fear and strengthens your ability to keep going. Fear also often hides behind the need for perfection. You might tell yourself you need to be fully prepared before you try something new. But waiting for perfect conditions only increases anxiety and postpones growth. Perfect preparation doesn't exist. You will always have questions, doubts, and unknowns. The difference between success and stagnation is the willingness to act without all the answers. When you embrace imperfection, you give yourself permission to learn and improve as you move. Another important practice is to change the story you tell yourself about fear. Instead of viewing fear as an enemy, see it as a signal that you are about to grow. Fear shows up when you face something meaningful, something outside your comfort zone. This reframe reduces the emotional charge of fear and allows you to use it as a compass rather than a barrier. When fear arises, acknowledge it without judgment and remind yourself that it's a natural part of progress. It helps to prepare for fear by rehearsing your actions mentally before taking them. Visualization is a powerful tool that reduces anxiety. Imagine yourself facing the challenge calmly and confidently. Picture the steps you will take and how you will respond to difficulties. This mental practice creates familiarity and reduces the unknown. When the real moment comes, you feel more equipped and less likely to freeze. Accountability can also support facing fear with action. Share your goals and plans with someone who encourages you and expects follow-through. Knowing that someone else is aware of your commitments motivates you to act even when you don't feel ready. Accountability creates external pressure that counters internal hesitation. It also provides encouragement when fear tries to convince you to quit. Becoming comfortable with discomfort is another key to overcoming fear. Fear rises from the anticipation of pain or failure, but growth requires pushing through these feelings. Accept that discomfort is part of the process and not a sign that something is wrong. Over time, repeated exposure to fear and discomfort desensitizes your reaction. You develop resilience and confidence that you can handle whatever comes your way. Reflection after action is also essential. After facing your fear, take time to review what happened, what worked well, what could be improved. What did you learn about yourself? This reflection builds self-awareness and prepares you for future challenges. It turns experience into wisdom and reduces the power of fear over time. It is also important to practice self-compassion during this process. Facing fear takes courage, and setbacks are inevitable. When you stumble, avoid harsh self-criticism. Treat yourself with kindness and recognize that every step forward is progress. Self-compassion replenishes emotional energy and keeps you motivated to continue acting despite fear. Physical movement can support facing fear with action as well. When anxiety builds, doing something physical like walking, stretching, or deep breathing helps reduce tension and clear your mind. A calm body supports a calm mind. Incorporating physical action into your response to fear creates a holistic approach that strengthens your ability to take courageous steps. Avoid waiting for motivation to face your fears. Motivation is unpredictable and often comes after action, not before. Discipline and commitment drive progress even on days when motivation is low. Commit to taking action regardless of how you feel. This commitment builds reliability with yourself, reinforcing your ability to overcome fear. Recognize that fear doesn't disappear completely. Even the most successful people face fear regularly. The difference is how they respond. They use action as a tool to keep moving forward, not as a reason to stop. This mindset shift empowers you to view fear as a companion on your journey rather than an obstacle. Building a routine of facing fears with action creates lasting change. Challenge yourself daily with something that causes hesitation. This might be speaking up in a meeting, trying a new activity, or confronting a difficult conversation. With repetition, fear loses its grip and you gain confidence. The habit of action becomes your default response. Celebrate each act of courage, no matter the size. Acknowledge that every time you choose action over overthinking, you strengthen your ability to live boldly. These moments accumulate and transform your life. You become someone who doesn't wait for fear to pass, but moves forward in spite of it. Ultimately, facing your fears with action is a choice to live fully. It requires discipline, courage, and patience, but it also brings freedom, growth, and deeper fulfillment. You reclaim control over your life when you refuse to let fear dictate your direction. By moving through fear with intentional action, you open the door to possibilities that were previously out of reach. This is the path to true transformation and empowerment. Chapter 9. Learn something new that makes you uncomfortable. Stepping into new knowledge often triggers discomfort, and that discomfort is a sign that growth is happening. Learning something unfamiliar shakes the foundation of what you know and forces your mind to adapt. This process can feel awkward, challenging, and even frustrating. Yet, this very unease is essential for breaking free from stagnation. Choosing to engage with subjects or skills that stretch your limits builds resilience and expands your capabilities. Growth rarely occurs within comfort zones. It requires intentionally walking into unfamiliar territory. When you learn something new that unsettles you, you experience a shift in perspective. Your assumptions are questioned, and your thinking becomes more flexible. This openness lays the groundwork for innovation and creativity. It also builds humility because you recognize how much there is to learn. Accepting that you don't have all the answers is a powerful step toward wisdom. It keeps you curious and motivated to keep exploring rather than settling for what is easy or known. It's normal to feel vulnerable when starting something new. You may struggle, make mistakes, or face criticism. These experiences are not signs of failure, but markers of progress. Each misstep teaches you more than success ever could. When discomfort arises, lean into it rather than avoiding it. See it as a signal that you are expanding your limits and rewiring your brain for higher performance. Discomfort also challenges your patience. Learning new things takes time, often longer than you expect. The initial excitement can fade when progress seems slow or complicated. Persistence becomes the key differentiator. Those who embrace discomfort as part of the process keep going even when results are not immediate. This commitment separates temporary effort from lasting transformation. Seeking out learning opportunities that push you beyond your comfort zone requires courage. It's easy to stick with familiar subjects or routines because they feel safe. However, this safety limits growth. You must deliberately choose to explore areas that provoke uncertainty. This might be a new language, a challenging skill, or a field you know little about. The goal is not perfection, but engagement with complexity. You'll find that as you consistently challenge yourself to learn in uncomfortable areas, your confidence grows. You build mental toughness and adaptability. The brain creates new neural pathways, improving problem solving and creativity. This process makes you more prepared to handle future challenges and changes. Learning discomfort equips you with a mindset of continuous improvement rather than fixed ability. In practical terms, approach learning with a beginner's mindset. Let go of the need to be immediately good or to compare yourself to others. Focus on the process rather than outcomes. Ask questions, seek feedback, and reflect on your experiences. This openness accelerates growth and reduces fear of judgment. When you accept that everyone starts somewhere, you free yourself from unrealistic expectations. Creating a routine around learning uncomfortable things can anchor your progress. Dedicate specific time daily or weekly to study or practice. Break complex subjects into manageable chunks. Celebrate small victories along the way to maintain motivation. Consistency turns discomfort into familiarity and eventually into mastery. You may also find value in sharing your learning journey with others. Teaching or discussing new topics forces you to organize your thoughts and deepen your understanding. It builds community and accountability. When you openly admit discomfort, you invite support and encouragement. This connection makes the process less isolating and more rewarding. Be mindful of your internal dialogue during learning. Self-criticism can intensify discomfort and discourage persistence. Instead, speak to yourself with encouragement and recognition of effort. Remind yourself that growth requires challenge. Positive self-talk sustains energy and focus. Sometimes, learning uncomfortable things will challenge your core beliefs or values. This can lead to moments of internal conflict. Embrace these moments as opportunities for deeper reflection and growth. Questioning long-held beliefs allows you to refine your worldview and develop greater clarity about your value. Avoid the trap of perfectionism, which can sabotage your learning. Waiting to feel ready or fearing mistakes keeps you stuck. Commit to imperfect action. Understand that skill and knowledge build gradually through repeated attempts and adjustments. Learning discomfort also sharpens emotional intelligence. You become more aware of your reactions, triggers, and coping mechanisms. This awareness improves your ability to manage stress and uncertainty in other areas of life. It enhances resilience and mental agility. Select challenges that are meaningful and aligned with your goals. Random discomfort does not guarantee growth. Intentional learning creates direction and purpose. Aligning discomfort with your values and aspirations makes the process motivating rather than overwhelming. Over time, embracing learning discomfort transforms how you approach life. You become a lifelong learner who welcomes challenge rather than fearing it. Your mindset shifts from avoiding difficulty to seeking it as a pathway to excellence. This shift unlocks untapped potential and opens doors to new opportunities. The habit of learning uncomfortable things also combats complacency. It keeps your mind active and engaged. It prevents stagnation and promotes innovation. This dynamic approach to growth makes your life richer and more fulfilling. You will also notice improvements in creativity and problem-solving skills. When you stretch your thinking by grappling with new concepts, you develop the ability to connect ideas in novel ways. This cognitive flexibility enhances decision-making and adaptability. In addition, learning discomfort strengthens your self-discipline. The willingness to persist through difficulty builds mental toughness. This toughness translates into greater confidence in facing all kinds of challenges, not just intellectual ones. It's important to recognize and respect your limits. Discomfort does not mean pushing to the point of burnout or harm. Balance challenge with self-care. Allow time for rest and recovery to sustain long-term growth. Celebrate progress regularly. Each new skill or insight is a victory. Reflect on how far you've come to reinforce your commitment and motivation. Recognizing growth encourages you to continue seeking new challenges. Ultimately, learning something new that makes you uncomfortable is a deliberate choice to expand your life. It requires bravery, persistence, and openness. The rewards are immense: expanded abilities, greater confidence, and a mindset equipped for continuous growth. This practice shapes you into a resilient and adaptive person, ready to thrive in an ever-changing world. Chapter 10. Replace every excuse with a powerful decision. Excuses have a way of quietly taking over our lives if we let them. They appear as convenient reasons to delay, avoid, or give up on goals. But excuses are not truth. They are stories created to justify inaction. Replacing every excuse with a powerful decision means shifting from passivity to ownership. It means refusing to let circumstances, fears, or doubts control your path. Instead, you choose intentionally what you will do, no matter how difficult or uncomfortable the journey might be. Every excuse starts with a thought that distances you from responsibility. It might sound like, "I don't have time, I'm too tired," or "I'll start tomorrow." These statements might feel true in the moment, but they limit your ability to act. The power lies not in the situation, but in your response. By recognizing excuses as mental blocks, you can dismantle them with deliberate decisions that commit you to progress. A powerful decision is clear and actionable. It moves beyond vague intentions and uncertainty. When you make a decision, you define your next step concretely. For example, instead of saying, "I'll try to exercise more," decide, "I will walk for 30 minutes at 7 a.m. every day." This clarity creates focus and reduces hesitation. Decisions provide a roadmap where excuses leave you lost and stuck. The process of replacing excuses with decisions starts with awareness. Notice the moments when excuses arise. What triggers them? Is it fear, discomfort, lack of motivation, or external distraction? Identifying the root helps you address it directly. Awareness breaks the autopilot cycle where excuses run unchecked. Once you catch yourself making an excuse, pause and ask, "What decision can I make right now to move forward?" Making decisions requires courage. It means facing uncertainty and risk. Excuses often feel safer because they protect you from potential failure or discomfort. But real growth demands stepping into the unknown with resolve. Powerful decisions embrace imperfection and acknowledge that progress is made through action, not perfect conditions. They turn fear into fuel rather than a stop sign. Discipline plays a crucial role in this transformation. Decisions are commitments that demand follow-through, especially when motivation wanes. Discipline ensures you stick to your decisions even when enthusiasm fades. Building discipline requires small daily choices that reinforce your resolve. Each time you honor a decision instead of making an excuse, you strengthen your capacity to do so again. An effective strategy is to reframe obstacles as opportunities to decide differently. When challenges arise, rather than making excuses about why something can't be done, ask yourself what decisions will lead you around or through the obstacle. This mindset shifts your focus from limitation to possibility. You become solution-oriented, which energizes your efforts and expands your options. Visualization can support replacing excuses with decisions. Imagine yourself overcoming a barrier by making a decisive move. Picture how it feels to act despite difficulties. This mental rehearsal builds confidence and reduces anxiety. When you encounter excuses, recall the feeling of empowerment from your visualization. This connection between mind and action helps override hesitation. Setting specific goals also strengthens decision-making. When your goals are clear and meaningful, you have a strong reason to choose action over excuses. Goals provide direction and motivation. Break large goals into smaller milestones that require daily decisions. Achieving these milestones reinforces your belief in your ability to decide and act. Accountability enhances this process. Share your decisions and goals with someone who supports your growth. Reporting progress to a trusted person increases your commitment. Knowing others are aware of your choices reduces the temptation to make excuses. It creates external structure that complements your internal resolve. It is important to cultivate self-compassion throughout this journey. You will sometimes falter and make excuses. Instead of harsh judgment, treat yours with understanding. Recognize that growth is a process, not a straight line. Each moment offers a new opportunity to replace excuses with decisions. Self-compassion replenishes motivation and keeps you moving forward. Mindfulness practices help maintain focus on your decisions. Regularly check in with yourself to assess whether your actions align with your commitments. Notice when old excuse patterns re-emerge. Mindfulness creates space between impulse and reaction, allowing you to choose your response consciously. This awareness strengthens your ability to act decisively. Learning from experience deepens your skill in decision-making. Reflect on times when you successfully replaced excuses with action. What strategies worked? What did you learn about your triggers and strengths? Use these insights to refine your approach. Experience turns theory into practical wisdom. Technology can be an ally or a distraction in this process. Use apps and tools that remind you of your commitments and track your progress. Avoid digital habits that encourage procrastination or excuse-making. Intentional use of technology supports your decisions rather than undermines them. Celebrate every decision you make that overcomes an excuse. Recognize that each choice builds momentum and reshapes your identity. You become someone who acts with intention and integrity. This self-image fuels further positive decisions and diminishes the power of excuses. Replacing excuses with powerful decisions transforms how you relate to challenges and setbacks. Instead of seeing them as reasons to quit, you view them as invitations to decide differently. This shift creates resilience and a proactive mindset. You learn to navigate difficulties with confidence and creativity. Ultimately, the practice of choosing decisions over excuses leads to freedom. Freedom from the mental prison of doubt and hesitation. Freedom to pursue your goals without self-imposed limits. This freedom is a daily practice, not a one-time event. Each decision you make is a step toward living a life defined by purpose and action. Taking control in this way empowers you to shape your future. It demands honesty, courage, and persistence, but the rewards are immense. Increased self-trust, progress toward meaningful goals, and a deep sense of agency. By replacing every excuse with a powerful decision, you reclaim your power and open the door to lasting transformation. Chapter 11. Create a morning routine that builds your courage. Starting the day with intention creates a powerful foundation for courage. A morning routine is not just a set of habits, it is a deliberate choice to prepare yourself mentally and emotionally for whatever challenges lie ahead. Courage isn't born in moments of crisis alone. It grows steadily in the quiet moments of daily preparation. When you design your mornings with purpose, you build resilience and strength that carry you through the uncertainties of life. To build courage through a morning routine, begin by waking up with a clear reason to embrace the day. This means having a focused mindset rather than rushing out of bed distracted or reactive. Instead of hitting snooze or scrolling through your phone, take a moment to set an intention. Decide what kind of mindset you want to carry. This simple practice primes your brain for confidence rather than fear or hesitation. Physical movement early in the day energizes both body and mind. It doesn't have to be intense exercise. Stretching, yoga, or even a few deep breaths can awaken your nervous system and reduce anxiety. Moving your body helps you feel grounded and present, which is essential for facing fear with steadiness. When your body feels alive and awake, your mind follows, making it easier to approach challenges with bravery. Silence and stillness in the morning provide space to connect with your inner strength. Whether through meditation, prayer, or quiet reflection, taking time to be still helps you become aware of your thoughts and emotions. This awareness is the first step in mastering your mind and choosing courage over avoidance. A calm mind creates a stable foundation from which you can act decisively. Journaling is another powerful tool to build morning courage. Writing down your thoughts, fears, and goals externalizes them, reducing their power over you. Use your journal to affirm your strengths and commitments. Reflect on past moments when you acted bravely, reminding yourself that courage is already within you. This practice strengthens your belief in your capacity to face difficulties. Reading or listening to inspirational material in the morning fuels your motivation. Choose content that challenges and uplifts you, such as stories of resilience, wisdom teachings, or motivational talks. Exposure to courageous ideas reinforces your commitment to personal growth and builds mental toughness. This positive input shapes your mindset and sets a courageous tone for the day. Planning your day with clear priorities reduces overwhelm and builds confidence. When you know what needs your attention and why, you can focus your energy on meaningful action. Prioritizing also means acknowledging that you can't do everything and making intentional choices. This clarity prevents procrastination and builds momentum, both of which are essential for courage. Gratitude is a key ingredient in morning courage. Taking time to acknowledge what you appreciate creates a positive emotional state. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity and fear to abundance and possibility. This perspective opens your mind to solutions and strengthens your resolve to face challenges with optimism rather than dread. Affirmations spoken aloud anchor your courage in your body and mind. Statements like "I am capable," "I face my fears with strength," or "I choose action over doubt" embed confidence deep within. Repeating affirmations daily rewires your brain to prioritize courage and diminishes self-doubt. This practice builds a foundation of inner strength that is ready to meet life's tests. Accountability supports the morning routine's impact. Share your intentions and progress with someone you trust. Knowing that you have committed to someone else encourages consistency and effort. Accountability partners provide encouragement and reminders that keep you aligned with your courageous goals. Adjust your morning routine as needed to maintain engagement. Courage grows in environments that feel authentic and energizing. Experiment with different practices and durations until you find what resonates. Your routine should feel like a source of strength, not a rigid chore. Flexibility within consistency is key to long-term success. Avoid checking emails or social media first thing. These activities can flood your mind with distractions and reactive emotions. Starting the day in a calm and focused state builds courage more effectively than jumping into external noise and stress. Protecting your morning from digital chaos allows you to cultivate intentionality. Celebrate each morning you complete your routine. Acknowledge that this daily commitment builds your courage gradually. Each day is a victory that compounds over time, strengthening your ability to face fear and uncertainty. Recognizing progress reinforces your motivation to continue. Remember that courage is a muscle that grows with use. The morning routine is your daily exercise for this muscle. By consistently showing up for yourself, you build habits that support bravery in all areas of life. Over time, you develop resilience that becomes your default response to challenges. Create rituals that symbolize courage in your morning. This might be lighting a candle, listening to a particular song, or wearing a specific item that reminds you of your strength. Rituals activate the brain's pattern recognition and prepare you mentally for courageous action. Keep a journal or log of your morning courage routine. Track how you feel before and after your practices. Note any shifts in your mindset or daily outcome. This record provides motivation and insight, showing the tangible impact of your efforts. Cultivate patience with yourself during this process. Building courage through a morning routine is a gradual transformation. There will be days when motivation wanes or life disrupts your plan. Use these moments to practice kindness and recommit without judgment. Your morning routine sets the tone for how you meet challenges throughout the day. When you start with intention, movement, reflection, and gratitude, you create a mindset that faces uncertainty with strength. This daily preparation shapes your identity as someone who chooses courage rather than fear. Living courageously requires ongoing commitment. The morning routine is not a magic fix, but a foundation. When built consistently, it becomes a reliable source of power that carries you through difficulties and fuels your growth. By designing mornings that build courage, you take control of your mindset and create a life driven by purpose and resilience. Chapter 12. Own your failures and grow stronger from them. Failure is an inevitable part of growth and a crucial stepping stone to success. Owning your failures means fully accepting responsibility for your mistakes without deflecting blame or making excuses. This ownership is a sign of maturity and strength, not weakness. It is the foundation for learning and improvement. When you face your failures honestly, you gain clarity about what went wrong and what you can do differently next time. This clear-eyed approach transforms setbacks into valuable lessons rather than sources of shame or regret. Many people resist owning failures because they fear judgment, disappointment, or loss of self-esteem. However, denying or hiding failure only prolongs pain and blocks progress. Pretending failure didn't happen creates blind spots that prevent growth. In contrast, embracing failure courageously opens the door to new insights and opportunities. The process begins with acknowledging the facts of the situation without distortion. This means avoiding self-criticism that is harsh or unproductive, while also resisting the temptation to sugarcoat reality. Once you accept failure as a natural event, you can analyze it constructively. Ask yourself what factors contributed to the outcome and what was within your control. This reflection should be objective and focused on improvement, not punishment. By breaking down the experience, you identify specific actions to take in the future. This approach shifts your mindset from victimhood to empowerment. You reclaim agency by learning from what happened rather than being defined by it. Growth from failure requires patience and persistence. Change does not happen overnight. It demands repeated effort and adjustment. Owning your failures means committing to this ongoing process rather than expecting immediate perfection. Each attempt builds new skills and wisdom. Recognize that failure is not a final verdict, but a part of the journey. This perspective reduces fear and encourages risk-taking, which is essential for achievement. It is also important to separate your identity from your failures. Making mistakes does not make you a failure. As a person, you are more than any single outcome. When you internalize failure as part of your character, you limit your potential. Instead, view failure as information and feedback, not a reflection of your worth. This separation helps maintain self-confidence and motivation through setbacks. Sharing your failures with trusted people can accelerate growth. When you openly discuss your challenges, you invite support, advice, and perspective. Vulnerability strengthens relationships and reduces isolation. You also model courage for others, creating a culture where failure is understood as part of learning. This communal approach makes failures less daunting and easier to navigate. Developing resilience is a key benefit of owning failure. Resilience is the ability to recover and adapt after difficulties. Each time you face failure head-on and choose to keep moving, you strengthen this trait. Resilience builds mental toughness that sustains you in the face of future challenges. It helps you stay focused on long-term goals despite short-term setbacks. Another powerful step is to transform failure into motivation. Use your experiences as fuel to improve rather than reasons to quit. Let your failures ignite determination to prove your potential rather than diminish it. This mindset turns negative energy into constructive momentum. It propels you forward with renewed purpose and clarity. Adopting a growth mindset supports owning failures. This mindset sees abilities and intelligence as developable through effort. People with a growth mindset view challenges as opportunities to learn rather than threats to competence. They understand that failure is a necessary step in mastery. Cultivating this mindset requires intentional practice, including affirming your capacity to improve and valuing the learning process. Avoid falling into the trap of perfectionism, which magnifies fear of failure. Perfectionism creates unrealistic standards that make mistakes unbearable. Instead, strive for progress and excellence while accepting imperfection. This balance encourages experimentation and learning. It allows you to act despite uncertainty, knowing that growth involves trial and error. Mindfulness practices can aid in owning failures by increasing emotional regulation and awareness. When you are mindful, you observe your reactions without getting overwhelmed. This clarity allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively to setbacks. Mindfulness creates space to choose constructive actions that promote healing and growth. Celebrate your progress as you learn from failure. Recognize improvements, no matter how small, to reinforce your efforts. Positive reinforcement sustains motivation and builds confidence. This celebration acknowledges that growth is cumulative and honors your commitment to self-improvement. Taking responsibility for failure also builds trust with others. When you admit mistakes openly, you demonstrate integrity and reliability. People respect those who are honest about their shortcomings and willing to improve. This trust enhances personal and professional relationships and opens doors to collaboration and support. Be proactive in seeking feedback to understand failures better. Constructive feedback reveals blind spots and provides guidance. Approach feedback with openness and gratitude, even when it's difficult to hear. Feedback is a gift that accelerates your learning and helps you avoid repeating mistakes. Develop strategies to prevent similar failures in the future. This might involve improving skills, changing habits, or adjusting goals. Prevention is not about avoiding risk, but about making wiser decisions based on experience. It reflects your commitment to growth and continuous improvement. Understand that failure often signals that you are pushing beyond previous limits. When you try new things or stretch your abilities, failure becomes part of the process. This perspective reframes failure as evidence of growth rather than defeat. It encourages you to keep expanding your comfort zone. Recognize and challenge any limiting beliefs about failure. Some people internalize ideas that failure means inadequacy or permanent loss. Identifying these beliefs allows you to question and replace them with empowering truth. Replacing limiting beliefs supports a healthier relationship with failure and boosts resilience. In moments of failure, practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself as you would to a friend facing difficulty. Kindness and understanding replenish emotional energy and reduce stress. Self-compassion creates a safe inner environment for reflection and learning. Remember that owning your failures is not about dwelling on the past, but using it as a foundation for future success. The past provides valuable lessons when approached with honesty and purpose. It does not define your destiny. Your choices moving forward shape your life. Ultimately, owning your failures and growing stronger is a choice. It requires courage to face discomfort and honesty to accept responsibility. This choice leads to greater self-awareness, improved skills, and deeper resilience. It frees you from the fear that limits potential and empowers you to pursue your goals with confidence. This is how failure becomes a powerful catalyst for transformation and lifelong growth. Chapter 13. Push through resistance with discipline and clarity. Resistance is a natural force that appears whenever you try to make progress or change your life. It shows up as doubt, distraction, fatigue, or procrastination. It tries to keep you comfortable and stuck in familiar patterns. To push through resistance requires two essential tools: discipline and clarity. Without these, resistance can become an overwhelming barrier. With them, it becomes a challenge you can meet and overcome. Discipline is the commitment to consistent action regardless of how you feel in the moment. It is the choice to do what needs to be done even when motivation is low or obstacles arise. Discipline creates momentum by turning decisions into habits. It is the daily practice of showing up for yourself and your goals. When resistance calls you to quit or delay, discipline answers with perseverance and focus. Clarity provides direction and purpose. It is the understanding of why your goals matter and what specific steps lead you there. Without clarity, you wander aimlessly, making resistance easier to justify. Clarity acts like a compass, pointing you toward what truly counts. It breaks down overwhelming ambitions into manageable actions. This structure makes it harder for resistance to derail your efforts. When resistance arises, pause to reconnect with your purpose. Remind yourself why the work matters. Visualize the benefits and growth waiting on the other side. This mental reset strengthens your resolve. It transforms vague discomfort into meaningful challenge. Purpose fuels discipline by giving it reason and meaning. Create clear and specific plans to reduce the power of resistance. General goals like get fit or write more leave too much room for hesitation. Instead, define exact actions such as walk 30 minutes daily or write 500 words every morning. These concrete targets make decisions easier and provide measurable progress. They limit the excuses resistance relies on to stall your efforts. Break difficult tasks into smaller, manageable parts. Resistance often appears strongest when facing large, daunting projects. Dividing them into bite-sized pieces reduces overwhelm and builds confidence. Each small success weakens resistance and motivates continued action. This approach reinforces discipline through achievable daily wins. Maintain a routine that supports your goal. Predictable schedules reduce decision fatigue and create consistency. When certain behaviors become automatic, resistance loses its grip. Build habits that align with your objectives and prioritize them in your daily life. This consistency is the foundation of long-term progress. Use time management techniques to defend against distraction. A common form of resistance. Block dedicated time for focused work and protect it fiercely. Minimize interruptions by silencing notifications and creating a workspace conducive to concentration. Time discipline ensures your energy is spent on high-value activities rather than reactive tasks. Recognize that resistance often signals growth. It tends to intensify as you move closer to significant breakthrough. Rather than avoiding resistance, welcome it as evidence you are stretching beyond old limits. This mindset shift reframes resistance from enemy to ally. It prepares you mentally to face discomfort with determination. Develop self-awareness to detect resistance early. Notice physical signs such as restlessness or tension, and mental signs like doubt or distraction. Awareness allows you to intervene before resistance controls your behavior. Use breathing exercises or brief breaks to reset and regain focus. This proactive approach keeps you on track. Accountability strengthens your ability to push through resistance. Share your goals and progress with someone you trust. Regular check-ins increase your commitment and provide external motivation. Knowing others expect you to act reduces the likelihood of giving in to resistance. Support networks create a sense of shared responsibility. Leverage positive self-talk to combat resistance. Replace thoughts like "I can't do this" with affirmations such as "I am capable" or "I choose to keep going." Language shapes belief and behavior. Encouraging yourself builds resilience and undermines resistance influence. Consistent positive reinforcement rewires your mindset toward persistence. Celebrate small victories to maintain momentum. Acknowledge every completed task and step forward. Recognition reinforces your discipline and clarifies progress. This sense of accomplishment fuels further action and diminishes resistance. Gratitude for your effort creates a positive feedback loop. Be flexible when necessary, but avoid excuses disguised as flexibility. Life brings unexpected events and challenges. Adapt your plans realistically while keeping your goals in sight. Adjusting tactics without abandoning objectives preserves discipline and clarity. This balance prevents resistance from exploiting rigid or unrealistic expectations. Prepare for resistance by anticipating difficult moments. Identify times or situations when you are most vulnerable to distraction or doubt. Develop strategies to manage these moments, such as having a pre-planned break, using motivational reminders, or changing your environment. Preparation empowers you to respond rather than react to resistance. Understand that pushing through resistance builds mental toughness. Each challenge overcome strengthens your ability to face future obstacles. This cumulative effect creates confidence and reduces fear. Mental toughness becomes a key asset in sustaining discipline and clarity over the long haul. Incorporate rest and self-care to support sustained effort. Physical and mental fatigue lower resistance thresholds. Regular breaks, healthy nutrition, and adequate sleep enhance focus and willpower. Caring for yourself fuels discipline rather than undermines it. Balance between effort and recovery is crucial for enduring progress. Reflect regularly on your experiences with resistance. Analyze what strategies worked and what didn't. Learn from setbacks without judgment and adjust accordingly. Reflection deepens your understanding and refines your approach. This ongoing learning process enhances both discipline and clarity. Maintain a vision of your ultimate purpose to inspire persistence. Visualize the impact of your efforts on your life and those around you. A compelling vision motivates action and clarifies why pushing through resistance matters. This connection to meaning transcends temporary discomfort. Replace should statements with intentional choices. Rather than thinking, I should do this, say I choose to do this. This subtle language shift increases ownership and empowerment. Ownership reduces resistance by aligning actions with conscious decisions. Surround yourself with reminders of your goals and progress. Visual cues such as notes, images, or objects reinforce clarity and motivation. These prompts interrupt resistance by redirecting attention to your purpose. Physical reminders strengthen mental focus. Embrace imperfection as part of the process. Resistance can be triggered by fear of failure or not meeting high standards. Accepting that progress involves mistakes reduces anxiety. This acceptance encourages experimenting and sustained action. Use a mantra or phrase that encapsulates your commitment to push through resistance. Repeat it during challenging moments to regain focus and courage. Mantras serve as mental anchors, grounding you in discipline and clarity. Focus on process over outcome. Concentrate on consistent actions rather than immediate results. This focus reduces pressure and frustration, which often fuel resistance. Trusting the process builds patience and perseverance. Ultimately, pushing through resistance with discipline and clarity transforms how you approach challenges. It shifts your identity from someone controlled by obstacles to someone who chooses action and growth. This transformation leads to lasting change and fulfillment. Your ability to navigate resistance determines the scope of your success and the depth of your resilience. By cultivating discipline and clarity, you equip yourself to move forward steadily, regardless of what stands in your way. Chapter 14. Cut out distractions that weaken your potential. Distractions silently erode your potential when you allow them to take control of your focus and energy. They appear as constant interruptions, pulling you away from your goals and draining your mental resources. The ability to cut out distractions is essential for unlocking your true capability and maintaining steady progress. When you remove distractions, you reclaim the time, attention, and clarity needed to perform at your best and reach new heights. The first step in eliminating distractions is awareness. Notice what consistently breaks your concentration or shifts your focus from important tasks. These might be digital notifications, unnecessary conversations, cluttered environments, or habits that waste time. Identifying these interruptions without judgment helps you take purposeful action. Without awareness, distractions continue to operate unconsciously, undermining your efforts. Once you know what your distractions are, set clear boundaries around them. For example, create specific times when you check emails or social media rather than allowing them to intrude throughout your day. Turning off non-essential notifications reduces constant disruptions. Physical boundaries also matter. Designate a workspace free from unrelated items and noise. These limits protect your attention and build an environment conducive to deep work. Prioritize tasks with a clear focus on what moves you closer to your goals. When your priorities are obvious, it becomes easier to recognize and resist distractions that do not serve your purpose. Use lists, schedules, or planners to outline your day with intention. This clarity reduces the temptation to drift toward low-value activities and strengthens your commitment to meaningful work. Practice single tasking instead of multitasking. Although multitasking feels productive, it fragments your attention and reduces quality. Concentrating fully on one task builds momentum and flow. This focused effort deepens your engagement and produces better results. Single tasking trains your brain to resist distractions and strengthens cognitive control. Manage your environment thoughtfully to minimize exposure to distractions. Clear clutter from your workspace as visual mess competes for attention. Choose a location where interruptions are rare or easily controlled. Natural light and comfortable seating also support sustained focus. Your surroundings influence your ability to maintain concentration and protect your potential. Set time blocks for focused work, followed by breaks. Techniques like the Pomodoro method create structured periods of intense attention, balanced with rest. This rhythm prevents burnout and keeps your mind sharp. Knowing a break is coming helps you push through resistance and avoid seeking distractions as relief. Monitor your energy levels throughout the day and align demanding tasks with peak periods. Distractions become harder to resist when you are tired or mentally depleted. Scheduling challenging work when your mind is fresh increases productivity and reduces susceptibility to interruption. This energy management supports consistent high performance. Develop rituals that signal your brain it is time to focus. This might include a specific playlist, lighting a candle, or a brief breathing exercise. Rituals condition your mind to transition from distraction to concentration. Over time, these cues build a mental state conducive to productive work. Chapter 14. Cut out distractions that weaken your potential. Distractions silently erode your potential when you allow them to take control of your focus and energy. They appear as constant interruptions, pulling you away from your goals and draining your mental resources. The ability to cut out distractions is essential for unlocking your true capability and maintaining steady progress. When you remove distractions, you reclaim the time, attention, and clarity needed to perform at your best and reach new heights. The first step in eliminating distractions is awareness. Notice what consistently breaks your concentration or shifts your focus from important tasks. These might be digital notifications, unnecessary conversations, cluttered environments, or habits that waste time. Identifying these interruptions without judgment helps you take purposeful action. Without awareness, distractions continue to operate unconsciously, undermining your efforts. Once you know what your distractions are, set clear boundaries around them. For example, create specific times when you check emails or social media rather than allowing them to intrude throughout your day. Turning off non-essential notifications reduces constant disruptions. Physical boundaries also matter. Designate a workspace free from unrelated items and noise. These limits protect your attention and build an environment conducive to deep work. Prioritize tasks with a clear focus on what moves you closer to your goals. When your priorities are obvious, it becomes easier to recognize and resist distractions that do not serve your purpose. Use lists, schedules, or planners to outline your day with intention. This clarity reduces the temptation to drift toward low-value activities and strengthens your commitment to meaningful work. Practice single tasking instead of multitasking. Although multitasking feels productive, it fragments your attention and reduces quality. Concentrating fully on one task builds momentum and flow. This focused effort deepens your engagement and produces better results. Single tasking trains your brain to resist distractions and strengthens cognitive control. Manage your environment thoughtfully to minimize exposure to distractions. Clear clutter from your workspace as visual mess competes for attention. Choose a location where interruptions are rare or easily controlled. Natural light and comfortable seating also support sustained focus. Your surroundings influence your ability to maintain concentration and protect your potential. Set time blocks for focused work, followed by breaks. Techniques like the Pomodoro method create structured periods of intense attention, balanced with rest. This rhythm prevents burnout and keeps your mind sharp. Knowing a break is coming helps you push through resistance and avoid seeking distractions as relief. Monitor your energy levels throughout the day and align demanding tasks with peak periods. Distractions become harder to resist when you are tired or mentally depleted. Scheduling challenging work when your mind is fresh increases productivity and reduces susceptibility to interruption. This energy management supports consistent high performance. Develop rituals that signal your brain it is time to focus. This might include a specific playlist, lighting a candle, or a brief breathing exercise. Rituals condition your mind to transition from distraction to concentration. Over time, these cues build a mental state conducive to productive work. Limit exposure to negative or draining influences that distract from your growth. This includes toxic people, sensational news, or environments that sap motivation. Protect your emotional energy by choosing inputs that inspire and support your goals. Surrounding yourself with positivity enhances focus and reinforces your potential. Use technology intentionally. While digital tools can aid productivity, they can also enable distraction. Customize your devices by uninstalling unnecessary apps, using website blockers, and setting Do Not Disturb modes during focus times. Harness technology to serve your purpose rather than undermine it. Practice mindfulness to increase your ability to recognize distraction as it happens. Mindfulness sharpens awareness and helps you return your attention to the present moment. This skill reduces mind wandering and strengthens your control over impulses. Regular mindfulness exercises build mental discipline that protects against distraction. Evaluate your commitments regularly. Saying yes to too many obligations fragments your focus and creates stress. Learn to say no to activities that do not align with your priorities. This selective approach preserves your time and energy for what truly matters, enhancing your potential. Create accountability systems to stay on track. Share your goals and progress with someone who can support and challenge you. Knowing you are responsible to others decreases the temptation to indulge distractions. Accountability partners provide encouragement and feedback that reinforce discipline. Reflect on your daily patterns of distraction and identify triggers. Notice what feelings or situations lead you to lose focus. Is it boredom, anxiety, or fatigue? Understanding your triggers allows you to develop specific strategies to address them. This proactive approach reduces the frequency and impact of distractions. Build resilience against internal distractions, such as negative thoughts or self-doubt. These mental interruptions can be as disruptive as external ones. Develop techniques like reframing, affirmations, or visualization to manage these inner distractions. Strengthening your inner focus deepens your overall concentration. Celebrate progress in reducing distractions. Acknowledge the moments when you successfully refocus or protect your attention. Positive reinforcement encourages continued effort and builds confidence. Tracking your wins reinforces the value of a distraction-free approach. Remember that cutting out distractions is an ongoing process. New interruptions will arise as your life changes or technology evolves. Stay vigilant and adapt your strategies as needed. Continuous refinement keeps you aligned with your potential. Embrace discomfort when eliminating distractions. Initial resistance or boredom may surface when changing habits. Lean into this discomfort knowing it signals growth. Overcoming it strengthens your ability to focus and succeed. Recognize the opportunity cost of distractions. Every moment spent distracted is time not invested in your dreams and goals. This awareness motivates intentional choices about where you direct your attention. Time is finite, and protecting it is essential for maximizing your potential. Finally, cultivate gratitude for your capacity to concentrate and create. Appreciating your focus turns it into a valued resource rather than a taken-for-granted ability. Gratitude reinforces positive habits and inspires continued effort to protect your potential. By cutting out distractions, you clear the path to your best self. You create space for deep work, creativity, and growth. This intentional focus transforms potential into reality and moves you closer to the life you envision. The power to shape your future lies in your ability to guard your attention fiercely and consistently. Chapter 15. Write your future and act like it is real. Writing your future is a powerful act of creation that requires intention, clarity, and belief. It means taking the time to envision the life you desire with precise detail and commitment. This practice is not about vague daydreaming or wishful thinking, but about crafting a clear vision that guides your decisions and actions every day. When you write your future and act as if it is already real, you align your mindset and behaviors with your goals, making them more achievable. This alignment transforms abstract dreams into concrete realities. Start by defining what your future looks like in vivid terms. Describe where you live, how you spend your days, who you interact with, and what accomplishments you have achieved. Include the emotions you feel and the values you embody. Writing with such detail engages your imagination and emotions, making the vision compelling and motivating. This clarity provides a roadmap that keeps you focused and inspired. Once you have written your future, treat it as a living document. Revisit and revise it regularly to reflect your evolving understanding and growth. This ongoing relationship with your vision strengthens your commitment and helps you stay connected to your deeper purpose. It turns your future into a dynamic goal rather than a static idea. Acting like your written future is real means living each day with the mindset and habits of the person you aspire to become. This requires adopting attitudes, behaviors, and routines that support your vision. For example, if your future self is healthy and disciplined, start making food choices and exercising as if you already embody those qualities. Consistent action aligned with your vision bridges the gap between present reality and future possibilities. Belief in your future is essential. Doubt can undermine your efforts and create hesitation. Cultivate unwavering faith that your written future is attainable. This belief fuels persistence, resilience, and courage. It transforms obstacles into opportunities to learn and adapt rather than reasons to give up. Visualize your future as if it is happening now. This mental rehearsal programs your brain for success by simulating experiences and outcomes. Visualization activates the same neural pathways as actual experiences, strengthening your readiness to achieve your goal. Regular visualization deepens your emotional connection to your future and increases motivation. Incorporate affirmations that support your vision. Statements like "I am becoming the person I envision," or "I act with confidence and purpose every day," reinforce your identity and intention. Repeating affirmations helps rewire limiting beliefs and strengthens positive self-perception. This internal dialogue shapes your behavior and mindset to match your written future. Surround yourself with reminders of your vision. Place notes, images, or symbols in visible places that reinforce your goals. These cues keep your future top of mind and interrupt negative or distracting thoughts. Physical reminders anchor your commitment and boost focus. Set measurable milestones that mark progress toward your future. Breaking your vision into achievable steps creates a sense of accomplishment and momentum. Each milestone reached validates your efforts and encourages continued action. This approach reduces overwhelm and keeps you engaged. Embrace the habits of your future self in your daily choices. Consider how the person you want to become handles challenges, relationships, and responsibilities. Model those behaviors intentionally. This imitation accelerates transformation and builds consistency. Develop resilience to handle setbacks by reminding yourself that your future is a process, not a destination. Growth involves trials, errors, and adjustments. Stay flexible and open to change while holding on to your vision. Resilience keeps you moving forward despite difficulties. Seek feedback and mentorship from people who embody aspects of your future. Learning from their experiences provides insight and shortcuts. It also expands your perspective and encourages growth. Mentors can hold you accountable and inspire confidence in your journey. Practice gratitude for the progress you have made toward your future. Recognizing achievements, no matter how small, reinforces motivation and self-worth. Gratitude nurtures a positive mindset that attracts more opportunities and resources. Be mindful of your language and thoughts about your future. Avoid phrases like "I hope" or "I wish" that imply uncertainty. Replace them with confident declarations such as "I am" or "I will." This subtle shift in language strengthens your belief and commitment. Create a daily ritual that connects you to your written future. This could involve journaling, meditation, or reviewing your vision board. Rituals build emotional and mental consistency, embedding your goals into your identity. Take full responsibility for your future by recognizing that your choices shape your reality. Avoid blaming external circumstances or waiting for perfect conditions. Empower yourself by focusing on what you can control and acting decisively. Challenge limiting beliefs that conflict with your future vision. Identify thoughts that undermine your confidence or commitment and replace them with empowering alternatives. This mental work frees you from internal barriers and unlocks potential. Maintain patience throughout the journey. Transformation and achievement take time. Avoid the trap of instant gratification by focusing on steady progress. Patience supports endurance and prevents discouragement. Keep learning and expanding your skills relevant to your future. Growth requires continuous development and adaptation. Invest in education, practice, and experiences that prepare you for your vision. Balance ambition with self-care to sustain your energy and enthusiasm. Overexertion can lead to burnout, which stalls progress. Nurture your physical, emotional, and mental well-being alongside your goals. Celebrate your identity as the creator of your future. Acknowledge your power to design and live the life you desire. This empowerment inspires confidence and deepens your commitment. Ultimately, writing your future and acting as if it is real is an act of faith and discipline. It aligns your inner world with your outer actions and creates a powerful momentum toward transformation. This approach transforms vague hopes into concrete achievements and moves you steadily toward a life of purpose, fulfillment, and impact. Chapter 16. Focus only on what you can fully control. Focus is the foundation of effective action and peace of mind. When you concentrate solely on what you can fully control, you conserve energy, reduce frustration, and increase productivity. It's common to get caught up worrying about external events, other people's choices, or unpredictable outcomes. These are outside your control, and investing mental effort there leads to stress and helplessness. By narrowing your attention to your own thoughts, decisions, and behaviors, you reclaim power and direct your efforts where they matter most. The first step is to clearly identify what falls within your control. Your actions, responses, habits, and mindset are fully within your domain. This includes how you manage time, the effort you put into tasks, the attitude you bring to challenges, and the values you choose to live by. Recognizing these areas empowers you to act decisively without waiting for external validation or circumstances to align perfectly. Letting go of control over outcomes is essential. While you can influence situations, results depend on many factors beyond your reach. Obsessing over uncontrollable results wastes energy and breeds anxiety. Instead, focus on consistent effort and quality in your work. This approach fosters resilience and maintains motivation regardless of immediate outcomes. Practice accepting uncertainty as a natural part of life. The unknown will always exist, and resisting it creates internal conflict. When you embrace uncertainty, you free yourself from paralyzing fear and indecision. Acceptance does not mean passivity, but a calm readiness to adapt and respond thoughtfully as situations evolve. Develop habits that reinforce control over your internal world. Mindfulness meditation, journaling, or deep breathing exercises help regulate emotions and clarify thoughts. These practices increase self-awareness and reduce impulsive reactions to external events. Strengthening your internal control creates a stable foundation for effective action. Set realistic goals grounded in what you can influence directly. Break large ambitions into smaller, actionable steps under your control. This method provides clear direction and measurable progress. When you control the process, success becomes a matter of discipline rather than luck. Avoid comparing yourself to others, which often leads to frustration over uncontrollable factors. Focus on your unique journey and growth. Comparison distracts from your own efforts and introduces unnecessary doubt. Your energy is better spent improving yourself than measuring against others. Cultivate emotional detachment from outcomes while remaining engaged in the process. This balance allows you to give your best without being overwhelmed by fear of failure or craving for approval. Emotional detachment brings clarity and calmness that empower thoughtful decision-making. Use language that reflects control mindset. Replace "I can't" or "I have to" with "I choose" and "I will." This shift emphasizes agency and responsibility. Language shapes thought and behavior. Choosing empowering words reinforces control over your life. Develop problem-solving skills to navigate challenges within your control. Break problems into manageable parts and brainstorm actionable solutions. Proactive problem-solving replaces helplessness with empowerment and fosters confidence. Recognize and challenge thoughts focused on uncontrollable concerns. When your mind drifts to what you cannot change, gently redirect it to areas where action is possible. This mental discipline strengthens your focus and reduces anxiety. Surround yourself with environments and people that support your control focus. Limit exposure to negativity or drama that distracts or drains your energy. Choose relationships and settings that encourage constructive thinking and purposeful action. Maintain physical health as it supports mental clarity and self-regulation. Exercise, nutrition, and sleep enhance your ability to focus and manage stress. A well-cared-for body is a vital asset for sustaining control over your actions and reactions. Plan your day to prioritize tasks that depend on your direct effort. Schedule focused time blocks dedicated to these activities. Structured time management increases productivity and limits distractions from uncontrollable issues. Practice gratitude for what you have and what you can control. Gratitude shifts attention away from scarcity and uncertainty toward abundance and possibility. This mindset reduces fear and fosters contentment and motivation. Learn to say no to commitments that drain energy without clear benefits. Overcommitting dilutes your ability to maintain control over important priorities. Saying no preserves your focus and strengthens discipline. Use setbacks as opportunities to examine your responses and adjust strategies. Failures often stem from controllable factors like preparation, mindset, or habits. Analyzing and learning from them enhances your control and effectiveness. Avoid blaming external circumstances or other people for your challenges. Taking full responsibility for your reactions and choices builds integrity and empowerment. This accountability fosters trust in yourself and others. Build routines that reinforce control over daily behavior. Consistency in sleep, work, exercise, and reflection creates structure and predictability. Routines reduce decision fatigue and help you act intentionally rather than reactively. Visualize success grounded in your control effort. Imagining yourself navigating challenges with calm and confidence strengthens resolve. Visualization aligns your mindset with purposeful action. Develop patience knowing that some results take time and depend on variables beyond your control. Patience reduces frustration and helps maintain steady effort. Trusting the process is a vital aspect of control. Engage in continuous learning to expand your skills and knowledge within your control. Growth increases your capacity to influence situations effectively. Education and practice empower informed decision-making. Recognize the distinction between influence and control. Influence involves affecting others or events indirectly, and is less reliable than control. Focus primarily on control but use influence strategically when possible. Celebrate small wins achieved through your controlled actions. Acknowledging progress boosts confidence and reinforces positive habits. This celebration motivates further discipline and effort. Finally, focusing only on what you can fully control creates peace, power, and progress. It reduces wasted energy on futile worries and sharpens your ability to make meaningful change. This focus transforms challenges into manageable tasks and leads to a fulfilling, purposeful life driven by intentional choice and resilient action. Chapter 17. Stand tall when life pushes you to the edge. When life pushes you to the edge, standing tall is not just a choice, it is a necessity. Moments of intense pressure, uncertainty, or hardship test your strength and resolve. These challenges reveal your true character and offer opportunities for growth that comfort never provides. Standing tall means embracing adversity with courage and resilience rather than shrinking away or surrendering. It requires a mindset rooted in determination and unwavering self-belief. In difficult times, the instinct to retreat or give up can feel overwhelming. The key to standing tall is to recognize that these feelings are natural but not permanent. Accept the reality of the situation without allowing fear or despair to control your actions. Acknowledge your emotions honestly while committing to respond with purpose and strength. Strength in adversity begins with grounding yourself in your core values and purpose. When external circumstances become chaotic, your inner compass provides stability. Reflect on what matters most to you, your goals, principles, and commitments. This foundation gives meaning to your struggle and fuels your determination to endure and overcome. Cultivate mental toughness by focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you cannot. Difficult situations often involve many factors outside your influence. Instead of wasting energy on these, direct your attention to your responses and decisions. This shift empowers you to act deliberately and confidently, even when life feels overwhelming. Use breath and body awareness to maintain calm and clarity. When pushed to the edge, the body often reacts with tension or panic. Slow, deep breaths calm the nervous system and sharpen your focus. Ground yourself physically by standing or sitting upright with an open posture. These simple practices restore balance and prepare you to face challenges head-on. Break challenges into manageable parts. Large problems can appear insurmountable, increasing stress and hopelessness. Analyze the situation step by step to identify immediate actions you can take. Small victories build momentum and reduce the feeling of being overwhelmed. Each step forward reinforces your strength and resilience. Draw on past experiences to remind yourself of your capacity to endure. Reflect on moments when you faced difficulty and prevailed. These memories prove that you have overcome obstacles before and can do so again. They boost confidence and remind you that hardship is temporary. Seek support from trusted individuals who encourage and uplift you. Standing tall does not mean facing struggles alone. Lean on friends, mentors, or professionals who offer perspective and assistance. Sharing your burdens lightens the load and provides emotional sustenance. Maintain self-compassion as you navigate tough times. It's easy to be harsh on yourself when challenges arise, but kindness and understanding fuel resilience. Treat yourself as you would a close friend facing hardship. This approach strengthens your emotional endurance and reduces self-doubt. Focus on purpose-driven action. When life pushes you to the edge, act in ways that align with your values and goals. Purpose creates meaning that transcends pain and difficulty. Purposeful effort transforms struggle into progress and reinforces your sense of control. Develop a flexible mindset that adapts to changing circumstances. Rigidity increases frustration and resistance when plans falter. Embrace uncertainty and view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. Flexibility enhances your ability to stand tall by opening pathways forward. Practice gratitude even in adversity. Recognizing small blessings or lessons amidst hardship shifts your perspective from scarcity to abundance. Gratitude uplifts the spirit and increases emotional resilience. It reminds you that not all is lost and fuels hope. Set boundaries to protect your energy and focus. When overwhelmed, it's crucial to limit exposure to additional stressors or negative influences. Say no to demands that do not serve your well-being or goals. Protecting your space preserves strength and clarity. Use affirmations and positive self-talk to reinforce confidence. Replace thoughts of defeat with statements of courage and capability. I am strong enough to face this, or I will rise above this challenge. Build mental fortitude. Repeated affirmations rewire your mindset toward resilience. Visualize yourself standing tall amidst adversity. Imagine embodying calm, strength, and determination. Visualization prepares your mind to respond effectively and reinforces your inner power. It primes you to meet real challenges with confidence. Prioritize self-care to maintain physical and mental stamina. Adequate sleep, nutrition, and movement support your body's ability to withstand stress. Neglecting self-care weakens your resilience and capacity to stand tall. Treat your body as an ally in facing life's difficulties. Accept that discomfort and uncertainty are part of growth. Avoiding pain or hardship delays progress and diminishes strength. Embrace the discomfort as a signal of transformation. This acceptance empowers you to move through challenges rather than be paralyzed by them. Focus on solutions rather than problems. Direct your energy toward finding ways forward. Problem solving activates your agency and reduces feelings of helplessness. It cultivates a proactive mindset essential for standing tall. Reflect regularly on your progress and resilience. Acknowledge how far you have come, despite adversity. Reflection builds awareness of your growth and encourages continued effort. It strengthens your belief in your ability to withstand future challenges. Stay patient and persistent. Some struggles require time to resolve. Avoid impulsive decisions driven by frustration or fear. Consistent effort, even in small amounts, accumulates into meaningful change. Patience sustains you through prolonged difficulties. Celebrate acts of courage, no matter how small. Recognizing bravery reinforces your identity as a strong and capable individual. Celebration motivates continued resilience and fosters self-appreciation. Commit to learning from adversity. Every challenge contains lessons that build wisdom and strength. Extract these insights to enhance future decision-making and personal growth. Viewing hardship as a teacher transforms setbacks into valuable experiences. Maintain hope and optimism. Believe that the current difficulty is temporary and that you have the resources to overcome it. Hope inspires action and sustains morale. Optimism creates a mental environment conducive to resilience. Avoid isolation when life is hard. Reach out and connect with others to share experiences and encouragement. Social support is a powerful resource for maintaining strength and perspective. Develop rituals that center and ground you during stressful times. This might include meditation, prayer, journaling, or physical exercise. Rituals provide stability and focus when external life feels chaotic. Stand tall not by ignoring your vulnerabilities, but by embracing them. Acknowledge fear, pain, or doubt without letting them define you. Vulnerability paired with courage creates authentic strength. Remember that standing tall is a daily choice. Life will continue to test you in different ways. Each moment presents an opportunity to respond with strength and dignity. This continuous practice builds a resilient spirit. Ultimately, standing tall when life pushes you to the edge transforms adversity into empowerment. It shifts your identity from victim to warrior, from overwhelmed to centered. This transformation deepens your resilience, expands your courage, and equips you to face whatever comes next with unwavering resolve. Chapter 18. Challenge the way you think about hard work. Hard work often gets framed as a relentless grind, where sacrifice and exhaustion are badges of honor. This traditional mindset makes many believe that success demands endless toil and suffering. Challenging this notion transforms how you approach effort and achievement. Hard work is not about mindless labor, but about purposeful, strategic effort aligned with your goals and well-being. Shifting your perspective allows you to engage with work in a way that is sustainable, fulfilling, and effective. The first step is to redefine what hard work means to you personally. Instead of equating it with busyness or exhaustion, see it as consistent, focused actions that move you closer to your aspirations. Quality and intention matter more than sheer quantity. This redefinition encourages smarter effort that prioritizes impact over hours spent. Recognize that hard work includes rest, recovery, and self-care. These are not signs of weakness, but essential components that maintain your energy and mental clarity. Viewing rest as part of hard work fosters balance and prevents burnout. Sustainable effort combines action with rejuvenation, enabling you to perform at your best over time. Challenge the belief that hard work must be painful or unpleasant. While effort requires discipline, it can also be engaging and even enjoyable when aligned with your passions and strengths. When you connect your work to meaningful purpose, motivation naturally increases. This connection shifts hard work from a chore to a valued pursuit. Avoid the trap of equating hard work with immediate results. Success often requires patience and perseverance through gradual progress. Understanding that growth is a process reduces frustration and encourages persistence. This mindset nurtures resilience and long-term commitment. Focus on working smarter rather than just harder. This means prioritizing tasks that yield the highest returns and eliminating activities that drain energy without significant benefit. Strategic planning and time management amplify the effectiveness of your effort. Hard work guided by clarity and focus produces greater results with less wasted energy. See challenges and obstacles as integral parts of hard work, not interruptions. Facing difficulties builds skill, character, and creativity. Embracing obstacles as opportunities transforms your experience and deepens your growth. Hard work includes learning how to navigate adversity with grace and determination. Practice deliberate effort by setting clear intentions before each task. Knowing why you are doing something creates direction and meaning. This clarity fuels motivation and prevents aimless activity. Deliberate work is purposeful work that contributes directly to your goals. Accept that mastery requires repetition and persistence. Excellence is built through consistent practice over time, not sporadic bursts of effort. This acceptance builds patience and reduces discouragement. Viewing hard work as a journey instead of a sprint strengthens endurance. Avoid comparing your hard work to others. Everyone's path and pace are unique. Comparison often leads to unnecessary pressure or self-criticism. Concentrate on your own progress and efforts to cultivate confidence and satisfaction. Incorporate feedback as a valuable part of hard work. Learning from mistakes and external insights accelerates growth. Open-mindedness and adaptability enhance your ability to improve continuously. Hard work includes a commitment to self-improvement through reflection and adjustment. Celebrate small victories that result from your effort. Recognizing progress reinforces motivation and builds momentum. These celebrations remind you that hard work produces tangible outcomes, encouraging continued effort. Maintain a growth mindset that views challenges and setbacks as opportunities rather than failures. This perspective transforms hard work into a positive and empowering experience. Believing that effort leads to improvement increases resilience and enthusiasm. Practice gratitude for your capacity to work toward your dreams. Appreciating your ability to act fuels positive energy and optimism. Gratitude transforms hard work from a burden into a privilege. Avoid multitasking, which divides focus and reduces the quality of your effort. Concentrate on one task at a time to maximize effectiveness and deepen engagement. Focused work is more productive and fulfilling. Set boundaries to protect your time and energy. Learning to say no to distractions and unnecessary obligations preserves your capacity for meaningful hard work. Boundaries strengthen discipline and help maintain balance. Use visualization to connect with the rewards of your hard work. Imagining the benefits and outcomes reinforces motivation and commitment. Visualization aligns your effort with your desired future. Develop rituals that prepare you mentally and physically for focused work. Routines signal your brain to enter a productive state and reduce resistance. Rituals support consistency and reduce decision fatigue. Avoid perfectionism, which can stall progress and increase stress. Aim for excellence, balanced with realistic expectations. Completing tasks and learning from them is more valuable than endless tweaking. Invest in your physical and mental health to sustain your capacity for hard work. Exercise, nutrition, sleep, and stress management are essential allies. A strong body and mind enhance stamina and focus. Practice self-compassion when work feels difficult or progress slows. Kindness toward yourself supports emotional resilience and prevents burnout. Self-compassion encourages perseverance rather than self-criticism. Challenge cultural or societal narratives that glorify overwork and neglect well-being. Define success on your own terms that honor balance and fulfillment. This redefinition empowers healthier approaches to effort. Seek inspiration from role models who exemplify purposeful and balanced hard work. Learning from their habits and mindset provides guidance and motivation. Role models demonstrate that success and well-being coexist. Commit to lifelong learning as a key aspect of meaningful effort. Expanding knowledge and skills increases your capacity to work effectively and adapt to change. Learning keeps hard work dynamic and rewarding. Ultimately, challenging your thinking about hard work liberates you from outdated beliefs that limit your potential. It invites you to engage with effort in ways that are intelligent, joyful, and aligned with your deepest values. This shift creates a sustainable path to achievement where perseverance is paired with wisdom and self-care. Hard work becomes not a burden, but a powerful tool for crafting a life of purpose, fulfillment, and impact. Chapter 19. Give your best effort, no matter the result. Giving your best effort regardless of the outcome is a principle that empowers a meaningful and fulfilling life. It shifts focus from external validation or results to the value of commitment and integrity in your actions. When you invest fully in what you do, you cultivate a sense of pride and self-respect that no success or failure can diminish. This mindset liberates you from the fear of judgment and opens the door to genuine growth. Effort is a controllable aspect of any endeavor. You cannot always guarantee success, but you can guarantee the quality of your work and the dedication you bring. Committing to your best effort means showing up consistently with intention and focus. It means pushing beyond laziness, distraction, or excuses to fully engage in the process. This commitment to effort develops resilience. When outcomes don't align with your hopes, it's easy to feel defeated or question your worth. However, knowing you gave your all provides a foundation to stand on. It allows you to view setbacks as part of the journey rather than reflections of personal failure. This perspective encourages persistence and fuels long-term progress. Give your best effort by setting clear standards for your work. Define what your best looks like realistically based on your current skills, energy, and resources. Avoid vague notions of trying. Instead, establish specific behaviors such as focused attention, thorough preparation, or active problem solving. Clear standards guide your actions and make effort measurable. Prepare thoroughly before tasks. Preparation reduces uncertainty and builds confidence. When you prepare with care, your effort becomes more effective and less stressful. This preparation also shows respect for the task and yourself, reinforcing your commitment. Maintain full presence during your efforts. Distraction weakens quality and wastes time. Practice mindfulness to stay fully engaged with the task at hand. Presence deepens your connection to your work and enhances satisfaction. Accept that giving your best does not mean perfection. Mistakes and imperfections are natural parts of learning and growth. Strive for excellence rather than flawlessness. This distinction reduces pressure and encourages continuous improvement. Use effort as a way to honor your values and goals. Aligning your actions with your deeper purpose makes work meaningful. Effort infused with purpose sustains motivation and creates fulfillment beyond result. Recognize that energy fluctuates and adjust effort accordingly. On some days you may give 100% while on others 80 or 90% is realistic. Effort is about consistency over time, not intensity in isolated moments. This flexibility prevents burnout and supports sustainable engagement. Celebrate the discipline involved in committing to your best. Effort requires choosing focus over distractions and comfort. Each act of discipline strengthens your character and builds momentum. Evaluate your progress honestly, without harsh self-judgment. Reflect on whether you genuinely gave your best and identify areas to improve. This honest evaluation encourages accountability and growth without diminishing self-worth. Avoid comparing your effort to others. Each person's journey and capacities differ. Concentrate on maximizing your own contributions to foster confidence and satisfaction. Seek feedback to enhance your efforts. External perspectives provide valuable insights that sharpen your skills and approach. Welcoming feedback demonstrates humility and commitment to excellence. Develop rituals that prepare your mind and body for focused effort. These can include routines such as organizing your workspace, deep breathing, or positive affirmations. Rituals reduce resistance and increase readiness. Practice gratitude for the ability to act and contribute. Recognizing the privilege of effort fosters a positive mindset that energizes your commitment. Use affirmations to reinforce your identity as someone who consistently gives their best. Statements like "I am committed to my highest effort" build mental strength and motivation. Understand that your best effort influences others positively. It sets an example of integrity and dedication that inspires those around you. Your actions ripple outward beyond immediate results. Accept that sometimes your best may not lead to success, and that this is not a reflection of your value. Effort alone is a meaningful achievement regardless of outcome. This acceptance nurtures emotional resilience. Turn effort into a habit rather than a sporadic push. Consistency builds skill, confidence, and momentum. Daily commitment to giving your best transforms effort from occasional struggle into a natural way of living. Balance effort with self-care to maintain long-term capacity. Physical and mental health are essential allies in sustaining high-quality effort. Neglecting care undermines your ability to give your best consistently. When motivation wanes, revisit your purpose and vision. Connecting effort to your goals renews energy and focus. Purpose-driven effort is more resilient to obstacles. Challenge limiting beliefs that associate worth with external success. Your value is inherent and independent of outcomes. Giving your best nurtures this self-worth. Practice patience with progress. Some efforts yield delayed rewards. Patience paired with persistent effort ensures you stay on course through fluctuations. Avoid procrastination by committing to start tasks with full intent. Beginning with deliberate effort builds momentum that carries through completion. Invest effort in learning and growth as well as immediate tasks. Developing skills and knowledge expands your capacity for future effort and success. Recognize effort as an expression of freedom and choice. Choosing to give your best asserts your agency and power over your life. Reflect regularly on the integrity of your effort. Consistent reflection aligns your actions with your values and goals, enhancing meaning and satisfaction. Ultimately, giving your best effort no matter the result builds a foundation of strength, integrity and resilience. It transforms challenges into opportunities for growth and pride. This mindset frees you from attachment to outcomes and anchors you in purposeful, empowered action that leads to a fulfilling life. Chapter 20. Live every day like your dreams depend on it. Living every day as if your dreams depend on it demands a radical shift in how you view time, choices, and commitment. This mindset infuses every moment with urgency and purpose. It moves you beyond complacency and procrastination into active pursuit of your highest aspirations. Each day becomes an opportunity to take meaningful steps toward what truly matters, making your life a powerful expression of your deepest desires. Start by embracing the reality that time is your most valuable resource. Unlike money or possessions, time once lost cannot be recovered. When you live with the awareness that your dreams depend on each day, you treat your hours and minutes with care and respect. You prioritize what aligns with your vision and let go of distractions that do not serve your goals. This perspective encourages deliberate decision-making. Instead of drifting through the day reacting to circumstances, you become intentional about how you spend your energy. Every action is chosen to advance your dreams, whether that means learning a new skill, connecting with supportive people, or resting to maintain strength. Intentional living requires constant evaluation and course correction to stay aligned. Commitment to your dreams demands resilience, because obstacles and setbacks are inevitable. Living as if your dreams depend on today means showing up even when motivation wanes or challenges arise. It is a practice of persistence fueled by belief in your potential. This belief sustains you through tough times and propels you forward. Use visualization daily to keep your dreams vivid and compelling. Picture not just the end goal but also the feelings of fulfillment, pride and joy that come with achieving it. This emotional connection creates a powerful internal drive that anchors your effort. Visualization transforms abstract dreams into tangible motivators that guide your actions. Focus on progress, not perfection. Each day offers chances to move forward, even in small ways. Recognizing these small victories builds momentum and reinforces your commitment. Progress compounds over time, turning consistent effort into significant transformation. Set clear priorities each morning or the night before. Identify the top tasks that will have the greatest impact on your dreams. Prioritizing helps you channel your energy effectively and prevents overwhelm from trying to do too much at once. Simplifying your to-do list sharpens focus and accelerates achievement. Practice discipline to follow through on your priorities. Discipline bridges the gap between intention and action. When you live every day like your dreams depend on it, discipline is the engine that keeps you moving regardless of fluctuating motivation or distraction. Cultivating discipline strengthens your character and self-trust. Create routines and habits that support your goals. Habits automate positive behaviors so that effort becomes less dependent on willpower. Morning rituals, focused work blocks, or regular reflection sessions embed your dreams into daily life. Routines provide structure and consistency that sustain long-term pursuit. Stay adaptable as you chase your dreams. Conditions, opportunities, and challenges change, requiring flexibility in your approach. Being rigid limits progress, while adaptability allows you to navigate uncertainty and seize new possibilities. This flexibility is a strength that keeps your dream alive through shifting circumstances. Guard your mindset vigilantly. Doubt, fear, or negative self-talk can erode your commitment. Cultivate thoughts that empower and affirm your ability to succeed. Affirmations, journaling, or surrounding yourself with positivity nourish a resilient mental environment. Invest in your physical and emotional well-being. High energy levels, clear thinking, and emotional balance are essential to pursue your dreams effectively. Regular exercise, nutritious food, restful sleep, and stress management form the foundation of sustainable effort. Connect with others who support and inspire your vision. Sharing your dreams with trusted individuals creates accountability and encouragement. Supportive relationships provide perspective, motivation, and collaboration that amplify your progress. Learn continuously to enhance your skills and knowledge relevant to your dreams. Growth expands your capabilities and opens doors to new opportunities. Curiosity and a learning mindset keep your journey dynamic and exciting. Celebrate milestones and the journey itself. Acknowledging achievements and the effort involved fosters joy and satisfaction. Celebration fuels enthusiasm and reaffirms your purpose. Reflect regularly on your alignment with your dreams. Assess what is working and what needs adjustment. Reflection deepens awareness and informs better decisions, keeping your path clear and purposeful. Embrace vulnerability as part of authentic pursuit. Fear of failure or judgment can hold you back, but courage grows through exposure to discomfort. Vulnerability opens you to learning, connection, and growth. Practice gratitude daily for the chance to chase your dreams. Gratitude shifts focus from scarcity to abundance, increasing optimism and energy. It nurtures a positive cycle that supports ongoing effort. Avoid distractions and time wasters that derail your focus. Protect your environment and habits to maintain clarity and momentum. Boundaries strengthen your ability to live purposefully. Commit to finishing what you start. Following through honors your effort and builds trust in yourself. Completion, even imperfect, advances your dreams and builds confidence. Accept that setbacks and failures are part of the process, not the end. Each challenge teaches valuable lessons and builds resilience. Reframe difficulties as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. Keep your dream visible in your environment. Visual reminders such as notes, images, or symbols keep motivation present and tangible. Surrounding yourself with these cues reinforces daily commitment. Balance ambition with patience. Some dreams require time to unfold fully. Patience coupled with persistent action creates a powerful force for long-term success. Live with urgency, but also with joy. Pursuing dreams is serious, but should not consume your happiness. Find delight in the journey and celebrate your growth along the way. Remember that living every day like your dreams depend on it creates a life of purpose and fulfillment. This mindset turns ordinary days into powerful opportunities and transforms you into the person capable of achieving your deepest desire. It is a practice of wholehearted commitment, resilience, and joy that shapes not only your future, but your present experience with meaning and passion.